I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like oh, yes, I love her like
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Happy Friday, man. Damn. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie to y'all. It feels good. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love attending the Panthers games. I love, you know what I'm saying? I love it. But it feels good having a weekend where I know I can just sit back and chill. The first 3 weeks of the season, we've been on road. Home game, like even the home games, bro, that's a 3.5 hour ride for me. So it's listen, long story short, man, it's the weekend and we home. You know what I'm saying? We home, man. What's happening? How everybody feeling? I'm gonna give people time to get in. Now, really, I was making me a drink. I was making myself a drink, bro. But my apologies. I know that shit was probably loud. I was making myself a drink. But my cup is leaking. My cup is leaking. So now I gotta change shit up a little bit. Making a mess and shit. But this is a great time. If you don't got a drink, if you don't got a drink or a J in your hand right now on this beautiful Friday night, this beautiful Friday evening, fix that. Fix that problem. Or if you're not of age and or you just choose not to do that, then I respect it. I respect it. But don't mind if I do. We got a great stream lined up tonight, bro. We got a great stream lined up tonight. We're gonna be joined by here in the next couple of minutes. We're gonna be joined by Ricky Reigns, aka Ricky Bo Body, aka 1/3 of Panthers on Tap. Then a little while after that, we'll be joined by Mr. Unnecessary Bluntness himself, Dunk on the Man, aka Dunk, aka Aaron Duncan, whatever you know him by. So, listen, we 48 hours away. We 48 hours away. And I'm gonna go ahead and start the stream off by first and foremost, excuse me, apologizing for Panthers fans if they thought they were gonna have the week off, because one of the clips from the pod, of course, per usual, one of the clips from the pod drifted his way into Patriots Twitter, and 60 or 70,000 views later, and it's another war. I thought we were gonna have a break after the whole Atlanta back and forth on X. Shout out to all the viewers on X right now. Shout out to y'all for tuning in. I thought we were gonna have a break, but unfortunately, the video, you know what I'm saying? The video kind of sparked some shit, and they've been lighting me up in the comments. And I mean, Milton Williams has been getting tagged like 30 plus times. Like, it's just been ridiculous, bro. So I apologize if you're on X and you've had a altercation via X with a Patriots fan based on our video. I apologize, but then again, I really don't care. Shout out everybody in the chat. What's happening, man? What's happening? Yeah, that Twitter motion for sure. We always gonna have that. We just always gonna have motion in general. And yes, we're missing Terrence. Terrence is not here with us yet. I think that he's gonna try and join at some point or another tonight. I don't know, bro. Listen, tonight might be a little bit different. We might have people coming in and out. You know what I'm saying? Coming in and out, joining as they can. But it's gonna be a vibe. My apologies again. I know that should be loud when I hit that. But it's gonna be a vibe for sure. So, like I say, if you don't got a drink or a J in your hand, get that fixed. I got something like very small, bro. Just a little tiny nip. Nothing crazy. But my drink will be refilled. I will go ahead and say that. So this is how I'm starting my night. Casamigos Reposado with cranberry juice. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. I've never had this mixture before, but that's what I had at my disposal. And that's what we're doing. So if y'all see me making a face, it's not for any other reason besides that shit is just nasty. And that first sip is always the most brutal. But shout out to everybody in the chat. What's happening, man? What's popping? Haley, what you sipping? Yeah, because bro, I really don't care, bro. I really don't care, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. Like if it's smoke, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like the role that we've taken in the fan base is, bro. Like let's just say we're just gonna be on the front lines of it is what it is. If niggas got smoke for us, it is what it is, bro. And we just gonna get it started. And yeah, I know that there may be a couple of Panthers or Patriots fans in here right now. And yes, I do still feel away, as does the rest of the crew. We do still feel away that Milton Williams pulled the stunt that he did this summer. So unfortunately for him, they're on our schedule, and unfortunately for that fuck nigga, it's up. I mean, like y'all act like it's supposed to mean something to me, like because y'all get to tagging Milton Williams. What does that shit mean to me? Realistically, I'll tell him the same thing that I tell everybody else that stumble on the Twitter page. Simple as that. Either that, or I'll give Dylan the green light. One of the two. But best believe that shit ain't gonna budge me. We done got into it with Cam Jordan, Taylor Moton, the UFC nigga, what's his name? Terrence McKinney. You know what I'm saying? So it don't really make no difference, bro, who you are. It's up for Milton Williams. For sure. It's up for him. What's happening, man? If you in the chat, say what's up. If you don't got a drink in your hand and you drink, go get one. I know that there's some college football on, so if you want to have me on the phone while you turn the college football game on at 8 or 7:30, whenever that started or will start, feel free to do so, man. We just gonna kick it. Like I mentioned, we got Ricky Reigns coming through very, very soon. We got Dunk on Demand coming through very, very soon. You know what I'm saying? It's a family affair tonight. It's a family affair tonight. And honestly, I'm very excited, bro. For one, I'm always gonna be excited anytime we have Dunk on stream because I told y'all multiple times, or yeah, I've told y'all multiple times, and I know I've told him multiple times. Before we even started this shit, I was watching Dunk. Like before FPFO even started, before I ever made my first piece of content, I was watching Dunk. So I'm always going to be excited when that's the case. But I'm pretty sure, and I may be tripping, but off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that this is the first time that we're going to have Ricky on stream. And I will admit, before maybe 16 or 17 months ago, I was unfamiliar with Ricky. But ever since then, I've been a huge fan. Like even before the whole Panthers on tap, deal or whatever the case may be, I was a fan. And now that he's with them, he got the, you know what I'm saying? He's a part of a good sized brand. I'm a huge fan of Ricky too. So I'm very excited for tonight. So, like I say, don't mind if I do. Cheers, salute to anybody, you know what I'm saying, that's sipping with me. If you don't sip and you smoke, and I haven't seen Omar. Where is Omar? Where is Omar? Somebody please tell me where Omar is. Like, tell me where Omar is and where he's been. Not terrible. Not the best thing I done had either. Shout out everybody in the chat, man. What's up? What's popping? Haley, I see you drinking water. That's lame as hell. You be drinking when you don't really need to be drinking, and then you be sober when you don't need to be sober. You need to be drinking with me tonight. What's happening? Terrence, what's happening? I did renege on that apology fast. You need to tell that nigga, hey, I'm not gonna lie. I hope you told him, hey, nigga, hurry up, back. We need you fast. And I don't know if you're black or white, but if you're white, then say it in your own words. But and JJ's gonna paraphrase it. I hope that you said, nigga, hurry back. We need you bad, fast, quick, fast, and in a hurry. I hope that's what you told him. Get healthy soon, cause we need you. Likewise, bro. Likewise, man. Great meeting you as well, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. Nah, for real. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. Yeah. Put something in the air. Put something in the air. I like the energy in the chat already. I'm not gonna lie. What's popping? Spiderlink, what's popping? Doug, what's happening? It's not even bro, it's not even that, bro. It's not even that. It's just like no cap. I really just threw the invites out there like literally yesterday, bro. And they were able to do it. So I was like, all right, cool. But then Terrence was like, I can't, he couldn't make it. So, it's not even like that, though. You know that you're free to come on this platform anytime you feel. Anytime Doug feels like he wants to come on FPFO, he has the green light. Legitimately. But I will say it's some powerhouses tonight. It's some powerhouses tonight. I don't know, bro. That's something that you gotta ask them, bro. That's something that you gotta ask them, bro. No cap. Like that's something you gotta ask them. Don't ask me. I don't know. I told y'all not that long ago what I really wanted to do. In-person production type joint with all the, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. If it doesn't happen, just know it's not not because of FPFO. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. Because I was trying 2 years ago, I was trying to do something with FPFO, Shot, and Dunk at training camp. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to go crazy like that, but it just ended up falling through. Like it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen, bro. Around that same time, like I say, 2 years ago too, bro, we were like one message away from having the Deshaun Jameson interview. And then I want to say maybe the following day or maybe 2 days after, nigga got cut. So yeah, trust me, bro. It'd be a lot of work going on behind the scenes that y'all, you know what I'm saying, that y'all don't see and that y'all ain't aware of, bro. He's better, bro. Nah, facts. Nah, for real. I got to, bro. I got to get the beats and everything going for sure. He's better. That's why. I would have to say, based on what we've seen, Nick Scott right now is better than Damani. And at first they were acting as though it was just because his communication ability and all of that other shit, right? But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Damani, or excuse me, Nick hasn't played half bad, bro. When you watch the film, he hasn't played half bad. Like I was on a podcast 2 weeks ago, and I was like low key slandering his name because of the touchdown before the half between him and Shaw. But outside of that, bro, outside of that and the missed tackle, against Jacksonville, he's been solid. And like, yeah, you can say those are two major plays like that shouldn't happen or whatever the case may be. And I would respect your stance and your opinion if that was the case. But outside of those two plays, even though they were relatively big plays, Nick Scott has been solid, bro. honestly. And right now, that defense is hooping at a level in which, like, if you just look at the last six quarters of football, that defense is hooping at a level in which you don't really want to change shit, bro. To be honest, you don't really want to, like what they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, yeah, you don't want to fix something that's not broken. So if he's showing you on a week in, week out basis in film or on film that he has the ability to play the position at a level in which is conducive to winning football, there's no point in putting Damani out there. Now, that being said, I believe Lathan Ransom should be getting more reps, but we saw last week Lathan Ransom did start getting a couple more reps, and we saw them trying to work him in a little bit more and moving Moray down into that box a little bit closer to the line, working him more as a hybrid linebacker role, like which I believe he actually is, Jeremy Chin-esque, right? But if it's not broke, don't fix it, bro. There's no point. There's no point. For real, for real. Who get him tonight? That's one of them ones. Who get him for tonight? Who get him? Hey, Christy. Who get him for tonight? Y'all like that track? Y'all like that one? That's one of them ones. And I don't even really fuck with Gunna like that no more. Nah, that's facts, bro. That's facts. Good things do happen when Lathan Ransom on the field. At some point or another, bro, like I'm not gonna lie, like I've been saying that I'm gonna do it. And I'll just say, like, just in a moment of vulnerability, I think it's just hesitation on my end because like I don't know how y'all are gonna receive it. But at some point or another, I want to get on a live stream or just do a shorter form video of a film breakdown. Like I said, I don't know how y'all are gonna receive it. And I want to make sure I'm on my shit when I do it. But I will say, good things do happen when Lathan Ransom is on the field. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement, 1,000%. Because no matter how y'all feel, if y'all feel like I know ball or y'all feel like I don't, for whatever it's worth, I actually do my homework. I actually do my homework, and I actually really real life be on that NFL Pro. I actually real life be watching individual players like Trevin Wallace last week. Yeah, that's how I seen Chandler Zavala. Like everybody was saying, oh, he made such great improvement, this and that, this and that. Yeah, but I kind of like err on the side of kind of feeling similarly to Dunk, in which if y'all saw his tweet this weekend saying that Zavala seemed like he was kind of fighting for his life. And that's a JJ paraphrase. I can't remember the exact terminology that he used, but yeah, he seemed like he was kind of fighting for his life a little bit. So all of that being said, just know I actually really do watch film, nigga. No cap. No kizzy. Tony, what's happening? But wholeheartedly agree with that. Wholeheartedly agree with that statement. Good things happen when Lathan Ransom are on the field. Facts. You right, dog. You right, bro. You right. Dylan be telling me, bro. Dylan be telling me all the time, like, bro, you need to go ahead and get on that. Cause I be like, when I be watching it, bro, when I be watching it and I'll see some shit that really, really blows me like crazy, like really, really be having me hot. And I gotta send a video in the FPFO chat. And of course, JJ gonna add the commentary every time. And they like, bro, you got to. They like, bro, you got to. And I'm just like, bro, I know, bro. I know. I mean, this is a great question. I don't know if that's where we want to start. I'm trying to like hold off. I'm trying to hold off, like, and just kind of shoot the shit with the chat, whatever the case may be, until um we get Ricky and or Dunk in the building. Cause I want to kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I want to flow like that. So we may even pull up some content because there's some Panthers content that I haven't watched this week. Like I know they dropped the T Mac mic'd up, I guess that was where JC said he had that little boy in a car seat, number 5 from Atlanta. When he said he had that little boy in a car seat. Like, I know they dropped that video. I haven't seen that full video yet. I've missed a couple of the pressers. So at some point or another tonight, we're definitely going to go through that for sure. But I guess since we're going to be doing a preview with Ricky and Dunk, I guess I'll acknowledge this question. And we can have a conversation about it. Feel free to comment. First and foremost, this is what I'll say. Let me do things properly. First and foremost, welcome to 4 Panthers Fans Only. This is a 4 Panthers Fans Only live stream. If you're unfamiliar with 4 Panthers Fans Only, we are a podcast. Me, my co-host Terrence, our producer Tavian is on set with us every single week. Then in the background, we have our content manager, Dylan, our marketing director, Haley, fan engagement and marketing director, and then our strategic advisor, Rod. So we're a conglomerate, a whole bunch of us. But if you're unfamiliar with the show and this is your first time seeing the show for whatever reason, go over to YouTube right now. If you're watching on X, 4 Panthers Fans Only, like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. If you're watching on YouTube right now and you haven't done those things already, y'all know better. That's the only thing I'm going to say. So appreciate y'all being here. Outside of that, appreciate everybody for tuning in and being here tonight. Like I've mentioned a couple of times tonight, but I see the numbers going up. So I'll mention it again. We do have a couple of friendly faces coming through, some friendly faces that you guys are familiar with. Aaron Duncan, CEO of Unnecessary Bluntness, will be in the building tonight, as well as Ricky Raines, aka Ricky Bo Body, will be coming by tonight. 1/3 of Panthers on Tap, as well as just really a major X personality within the Carolina Panthers space, because that's how I found him initially. So he will be coming through tonight. Dunk will be coming through tonight. I'm not sure if Terrence is going to hop on stream tonight or not. I would love for him to, so we can get a score prediction on record. But if he doesn't, we'll rock out and we'll go what we got. So all of that being said, thank you all for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. If you're watching on X, shout out to you. Unless you're a Patriots fan, unless you're a hating ass Falcons fan, fuck you. Outside of that, if you're a part of Panther Nation or you support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, and you're here with pure intentions and not here to hate, shout out to you. Make sure to follow and tap in with us. Our DMs are always open. You can see down below. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, X, etc., all DSPs. Tap in with us. Different pieces of content literally on all of those social media platforms. So highly encourage you guys to tap in with us on all of them. And like I said, if you ever want to have a conversation, whatever the case may be, the easiest way to reach me personally, we're talking Panthers football, at 4 Panthers Fans Only on Instagram. 95% of the time, if you DM that page, I will be the one responding to you. If not, then it's going to be Haley. And on X, it's like 75, 80% chance that you're going to be getting a response from Dylan. So anytime, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want to do, if you ever want to just chop it up, whatever the case may be, feel free to DM us on any page, and we will respond unless you on bullshit. I'll just say it like that. So yeah, those are my plugs. Let me go back to this question. Let me see. Are you talking about the first drive, or what was that? The first or second drive where they went for on first down or fourth down rather, and he grabbed bro by the way, he grabbed Five by the waist and kind of turned him and then threw his hands up. Yeah. If they would have called that, I would have said it was soft, but in that same regard, like, it low-key was, even if you're not going to call PI or holding, like, it low-key was illegal contact at the very least. It was at least a 5-yard penalty that they just didn't call. So shout out to the referees for that. I feel like those calls are always going against us, not in our favor. So when it happens that way and we get bailed out like that, I'm never going to complain. Ever. Let's go to this. And like I said, feel free to comment. Let me sip my drink first. Not bad. Not bad. Um. Okay. So feel free to comment in the chat. The chat is gonna keep this show alive tonight. So outside of our guest that's going to be joining us, we'll go as long as the chat is jumping. That's what I'll say. So if y'all want me to continue to go and y'all want to continue to watch, get the chat jumping. And that's how that worked for me. Because if I'm just up here talking to myself, I feel like a crazy person. Can you this is a loaded question, bro. This is a very, very loaded question. And if you're familiar with the show, you know that I've been extremely, extremely tough on Bryce Young since he was drafted. So the past 2 years and 4 weeks, I've been extremely tough on Bryce Young because I understand the magnitude at which that draft pick was at the time. And obviously, anytime somebody goes number one overall, the expectations are going to be through the roof, right? Have I been unrealistic at times? Absolutely. Have I been too hypercritical or overly critical of Bryce Young at times? Absolutely. I 1000% have, and I 1000% acknowledge that. So that's the first thing that I'll say. That's the first thing that I'll say. To answer this question objectively, I think that it's a like I said, it's a loaded question for me, bro. I mean, it's very tough. Like I don't know. You tell me, why do you feel like he hasn't looked like he did in the season? Because I personally really don't know, bro. Like I don't think that there's one right answer to this. I think that from a speculative standpoint, if that's even a word, maybe I'm smart, maybe I just made this shit up. I don't know. But from a speculative standpoint, like you can speculate and say that there's a multitude of reasons in which he's not performing this season the way he did last year to end last year. You could say that maybe it's just the fact that Bryce Young starts slow. You could say that maybe it is the fact that Dave Canales hasn't really done the best job in certain situations, whether it be play calling, whether it be game management, et cetera, right? Like you can just go back to the whole third down debacle going into the halftime against Arizona, in which we have, like what, 125, 123, somewhere in that range left on the clock. We don't get the play call in time. We don't get out of the huddle fast enough. We're sitting at third and 6 or 7 at that point. We get out the fucking huddle slow for whatever reason. We get a delay of game. We move back 5 yards. It's 3rd and 12. And then we run, 3, 4 or 5 yard slant routes. Right. So you can look at that and try and blame it on Dave Canales. You can blame it on, or you can attribute it to Xavier Legette not being the receiver that we thought he was going to be to start the season off. And then with him being healthy, or unhealthy rather, with him being injured with that hamstring injury. You can look at Jalen Coker being hurt, who is a receiver in which we know that Bryce Young has great chemistry with. You can look at Adam Thielen being traded a week and a half, 2 weeks before the start of the season, right? So I'll even go a step further and say you can look at the fact that the run game has not been effective, right? Because the Carolina Panthers last year, the offense was the most successful when we were able to move the ball on the ground with Chuba Hubbard. That's when this offense was the most successful, and being able to build off of that with play actions, with bootlegs, with just being able to have the ability to change different things and different pieces up. You can also contribute it to the first week and a half to week and 3/4 of the season. Austin Corbett was doing the shit job snapping the football. So with us getting out of the huddle late and the snaps not being delivered properly, the timing of everything is off, right? The offensive line has not played the best outside of, and really there were still some reps that we lost bad against Atlanta, but outside of the Atlanta game, the offensive line really hasn't produced that well either, with all the money that you have tied into it. If we're just keeping the stack, the offensive line hasn't produced to the level in which we would want to see one of the highest paid offensive lines produce. So all of that being said, I don't really have a direct answer for this question. We have one of our guests in the building. My face lit up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? My face lit up when I seen this name in the building. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he can give a matter of fact. Let me just go ahead and pull him up. So maybe Ricky can give us an answer. Round of applause, man. Ricky, what's happening, bro?
What's up, man? Hey, I'm
How
sorry
you?
that I'm late, man. You can
Nah,
tell
you're
like
good.
my neckline on my shirt is like stretched out and shit because like it was raining during soccer practice today, and I'm just standing out there like some sad dad, right? Like rain just dripping all over me. I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, babe, you know I got this show that I'm doing tonight, right? She's like, hey, your friends can wait. Just hold on.
Yeah. Hey, no, like I told you the other day, man. Happy wife, happy life.
That's
I
it,
don't
man.
want to come in. I don't want to come in between. None of that at all.
Nah, I hear you. Look, I
No
don't let
cap.
nothing come between it, man. I'm a smarter man than that.
Facts. Let me pull up 1 second. Let me get my
all good.
sound right.
While you pull up the stuff that you're doing, man, just thank you for having me on tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Man, no, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us, man, for sure. I was telling them before you got in, I'm not sure if you were able to listen. But I was like, yeah, like I'm a huge Ricky fan, bro.
Man, I
Even before
appreciate that. I'm a fan of
the
y'all.
Panthers on tap deal. And I don't think, like, to be honest, I don't even think I really knew who you were
Yeah.
before maybe 2 or 3 months before training camp last year.
Yeah.
And then we met at training camp.
That's right.
And ever since then, like, I've been tapped into the work that you do.
That was the
Huge
good
fan.
old days, man, where we were allowed to be in person at training camp and actually see our team instead of just believing the fact that they were smoking everybody in practices, right?
Yeah, exactly. Before we had to succumb to the propaganda.
But hey, don't feel bad about not knowing me, man. Most people don't know me. I only been around for a little bit of time, man, and I'm just a guy that likes to talk ball. Like, there ain't nothing special about me, man. And that's why I'm always appreciative when people like you guys want me to come on, man, because like y'all got a really cool show, man. Y'all are great fans. Y'all provide a necessary perspective for the fan base. And I think that's what I love about the content creation space, man, is that we all got our own, like, not our own lane, because our lanes are the same, man. We all talk Panthers ball, right? But we all got our own, like, thing that we bring to the table, our own assets, right? And so I love being able to come on all these different shows, man, and be able to be a part of this because y'all just got a cool thing going, bro.
1000%, bro. Definitely appreciate that. What you sipping on?
I hope you don't mind if I'm drinking because
Oh,
I will
no.
say again, I went to okay, good. You got yours. I got my shitty little beer here. It's Champagne Velvet. It's the 100 million, it's the $1 million flavor beer. It's a regular typical little beer. But I was at dinner with the wife and son after soccer and had a couple of PBRs there. And my wife had, a glass of wine, and I had to stop at Harris Teeter, get an extra bottle of wine so that she could sit there and have a little pregame while I'm doing this for however long I'm doing it. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, if I stop drinking now, I'm going to be dog shit tired and exhausted by the time this show is over. So I'm going to have to try to drink through it or else I'm going to get reprimanded and get those nasty looks when I get back out there.
For sure. Well, I'll keep sipping with you.
I appreciate it.
So you don't feel left out.
Thank you. We will power right through this.
1000%.
Well, what were you talking about when I came in? I heard you talk about something about the offensive line.
Yes. So we got this question. Spiderlink wanted to know, can we explain why Bryce hasn't looked the way he looked last season to start this season? And I was just telling them it could be a multitude of different things. It could be the fact that Dave Canales hasn't been on his game with the play calling and the game management. It could be the fact that Adam Thielen was traded, a week and a half, 2 weeks before the start of the season. It could be that Coker went on IR to kick off. It could be a multitude of things, right? But I wanted to get your perspective on it before we kind of dive into the New England game a little.
No doubt. So, man, for me, what I think it starts off with is the preseason handling. I don't think that was handled the most beneficial way. And I don't want to play like, hindsight on this and say that all of us fans that wanted to see more meaningful preseason action and that maybe even believe that if Dave Canales had been calling the offense for the first team, maybe that would have had a little bit of, familiarity and continuation that could have carried over into the season. But also what I really think it is, man, we heard Dave Canales speak about this directly, that they had been working on a collaborative playbook with Bryce Young, tailoring this offense to what Bryce Young likes to do and what he's good at doing and efficient at doing. They came out against Jacksonville and they came out against Arizona, and the game flow was completely ruined from the jump. Like that, it completely throws you off. It's like a heavyweight fight, right? You might have a great attack in the ring, and you say, "Look, we only got 3 minutes per round. All I have to do is this: hit him on a counter left, right? He's susceptible to a left uppercut because he always dips his head. If that's what you know, that's what you're setting up. A lot of what Canales does is setting up. A lot of what a great offensive coordinator does is setting up, right? And so I think what happened is you get behind, you got these turnovers, the entire team changes their approach. Even the defense has to change their approach because they're working to get the ball back, right? They're trying to give you more opportunities to get back in this game. Well, we know what Ejiro Evero's defense traditionally is, and it's a bend, don't break. Limit the explosives, right? Keep your offense in position that when the game is close, you can strike and you can finish. We didn't have that. So what I honestly think, JJ, and I don't know this for a fact, but then looking at that second half of Arizona, watching that tape, and then watching the way that this Atlanta game went, right? That's the offense that I think they want to be able to run. Did we put up gaudy numbers against Atlanta? No, we weren't even like overly efficient at it, but we left so much food sitting on that table against Atlanta that if we can
so much, bro,
so much, man.
We
Like
could have
30 to
dropped
nothing
50.
score, bro. We could have dropped like a 56-0 on those boys.
Yes,
like, and we would have. You think it was outrageous on Twitter at 30-0? It would have been. I mean, people would have been canceling like checking accounts, not just Twitter accounts. They'd have been backing out of every institution they were involved in. But I honestly think that what we're seeing is what they're setting up and what their intention is with this offense. I think that Jalen Coker being out is a huge wrench in the plan as well. I also think that they were banking on Xavier Legette making a bigger step than what we've seen thus far. I don't think that's entirely on XL. I'll start by saying that. But I do think that there is some disappointment about where that has gone. All of that said, I think that they have found what they were looking for. I think they found some rhythm. I think they found some comfortability within the offense. That just has to keep up, bro. Like they just have to keep the foot on the gas and keep that same trajectory and not end up, in the rough, so to speak, in a golf term. Keep it on the fairway, right? Make your life as easy as you possibly can and stop having to hit it out of the rough off of the tee.
1,000%. 1,000%. And I would say another thing that contributes to it as well, and obviously I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but when you have the multiple turnovers to start the game and you're in a hole, right? Very, very difficult to run the football. And I think that the Carolina Panthers offense last year, when we saw it the most effective and efficient, was when we were able to establish the run game early in the game and stay consistent with it throughout.
Absolutely. It's asserting a dominance at the line of scrimmage, right? So it's already showing the other team, hey, look, we control you. Like we're going to push you back. We're literally going to remove you from where you are to get where we want to be. That's what that power game is. And I'm not talking about like the power scheme of a run game. I understand we're a zone team, but it's power. It's asserting your dominance against your opponent. And that's what the run game really is setting up. But it also sets up those play action shots. It sets up moving the pocket on little boot rollouts, right? And it really does help when you bring in a guy like Rico that was supposed to be a very complimentary but similar piece. I think that's what they wanted to do. They just couldn't do it. You nailed it, man. Like hit the nail on the head. When you're down by 3 scores with 9 minutes to play, running the ball is not the most feasible option. Now, where I do think Canales sometimes will get a little bit flustered is a word that I'll say, but I don't know that it's necessarily flustered, right? But maybe gets a little bit too cute or too smart for his own good is when he does have the opportunity to get back to the run, even in limited capacity. Remember that 2-minute drill when we were down, 5 points against the Cardinals? Get the ball back on that miraculous onside recovery. I mean, everything was going right? Like it just felt like destiny.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, with 1:48 to go, with only 45 yards that we need to get to, the run game wasn't even something that he considered. But in that moment, man, when I was looking at it, the receivers are gassed, bro. Like they're stuck in wind, and you're still having them run these long developing routes so that every single time they're running 13 to 17 yards down the field, then they have to hurry back up. If there is a completion, God forbid, that everyone's got to get to the line. But for the most part, we didn't have to worry about that because we didn't have many completions.
Exactly.
But run the football a couple times. You know what I'm saying?
Like, and 2 things off of that. So if you remember, we got bailed out on the holding call.
Yep.
Right. Where Bryce Young ran like 45 yards back and just threw the ball up, right? In that 2-minute warning that you're referencing. We come back and run a draw. and we gained like 6, 7, 8 yards.
Yep.
So it's just like, okay, well, let's try that again. Like, let's keep them honest in that regard, right? And then you talk about the long and developing routes. We saw the Carolina Panthers approach to it, and then Monday Night Football, you have Houston and Tampa Bay, right? Very, very similar situation where Tampa Bay gets the ball back, but instead of doing these long developing routes,
right? How did they execute, JJ?
Dink and doink, dink doink. And run play here, run play there, keep the defense honest, and let's go win a football game.
There's a negative connotation that comes with this dink and dunk strategy, right? People think that means like you can't attack downfield. What it actually is to me when I see that approach, and that's how we got back in the Arizona game, to be completely fair.
Exactly. That's how we got
what the defense is giving you. And it's not some sort of, when I say that too, people are like, yeah, exactly, because it's prevent, it's blah, blah, blah. They're not trying to play defense anymore. Bullshit. That's not the truth. You can go and watch it. You can chart what defenses they were running. You can see how many times they were still running stunts. See how many times they still sent pressure. They were still playing defense to try to beat us. We made adjustments at the half. Dave Canales, tip your hat to Dave Canales, because he made adjustments at the half, and they came out and they operated an offense that was efficient and it executed well, and it took advantage of what that defense was giving them, right? They moved out of their cover 4. When they went back to it on that final drive, it messed us up again, and we didn't have an answer for it. But the dink and dunk is not a negative thing, man.
No,
it's a heady, cerebral way to attack a defense. And what it also will do is it'll make a defense think twice about allowing those underneath. They'll start trying to bite. And the minute that you can convince them that that's all you're going to do is go underneath, that's when you get one of those shots, man. That's the whole thing that you're setting up. It is literally, I know it's a really like old adage, the chess, not checkers, right? But that is what football is, man. Like, you might run the same concept or the same play from 3 different formations, but you might do it 2 or 3 times in a game. You're working to do it a 5th or a 6th time and it be effective on that 5th or 6th time. That's what some of the best offenses do. Sean McVay does that. Sean McVay will work the same concept out of 4 different formations, right? And he just wants that concept to work, and he's figuring out which one is going to be the one, because that's their bread and butter. That's what they're comfortable with. That's what they know they can do. That's what Canales likes to do too, man. Canales is a very similar coach. He just hasn't found his pocket yet, I think. One last thing I'll say, JJ, about Bryce's slow start. I do think that there was some sort of coaching points or something that they tried to implement over the summer with his footwork, maybe again, which is that's not unusual, man. Anytime that you have training camp and time off, if you're not an established, proven player that has, limited holes in his cheesecloth, then you're going to continually work on the fundamentals and the basics and the development, right? We saw some of that happen under Frank Reich. It was a complete mess because he was getting told by 7 different people. Thomas Brown wanted him to do one thing. Frank Reich wanted him to do something. But Dave Canales comes in. He stresses that 2.65 seconds, right? That was the number that they wanted the ball out. He talked about the footwork being tied to the concepts. All of that made sense. The first 2 games, it didn't look like it was ever going to happen. And then later in that season, it all started to look right. Bryce started to look like himself. He started to be comfortable in the offense. Now, when I just brought this up, that they may be looking at implementing some new offensive things to this scheme, the footwork is going to be tied to that new offense. So there are new things that he's working through, and it was apparent in the first 2 games. His footwork was a little bit shoddy. I also think he was sped up a little bit mentally. But when he's comfortable and he's familiar and knows what he's supposed to be executing, and you give him time at the line of scrimmage, bro, how often did we get in those operation situations where we had 4 seconds when we get to the line of scrimmage and you got to snap it? There's no time for him to do any pre-snap diagnosis. Against the Falcons, I watched the first drive. We're at the line of scrimmage with 20 seconds or more on like 7 out of 8 of those plays. Like every single time. And it worked because he was able to do a couple of motions. Even if they weren't motions that were pertinent to the play, he identified the defense by moving those guys around. Somebody trailed that motion, man. He's like, all right, man, right there. We're good. I know exactly where I want to attack. After the snap, he looks and he says, that's it. That's my zone. That is where I'm going to have conflict for those defenders, and I can attack that. That's what we got to keep doing, man. Let Bryce use his superpowers.
And I was telling them as well, like off of that, even like when you speak about the first drive of the Atlanta game, right? And we're coming out of the huddle faster than we have the previous 2 weeks, even a little bit further. Listen, I'm done with Austin Corbett at center. I'm done with the experience, with the experiment. I'm done with it, right? So even with that, like I feel like even the snaps being delivered better contributed to that as well.
Big difference, man. When you're not
Yeah.
having to reach up or literally jump up and plant your feet and then get into your drop, that helps, man. I mean, look, man, when you look at these advanced analytics, time to throw, right? That measure, that's a difference of like 2.4, 2.37 is like the quickest time to throw. The longest is still a hair under 3. We're talking about 0.7 of a second. And it's a gigantic difference in the grand scheme of things. These little like minimal errors or fallbacks that they have to take, these are preventable and fixable things. What we saw with Cade Mays at center, we didn't have those issues. And the entire operation looked smoother. Austin Corbett, man, I think
looked better up front.
It did, and it was more physical. I mean, everything just looked, and you know what? He didn't miss on calling out the communications. He didn't look like he was missing on calling out protections. Everything looked like it was running smooth. And that's what Austin Corbett was really heralded for, right? Because Corbett, man, he had never played center in the NFL. We talked about this all last year. He had never taken a snap in the NFL at center. And everyone was like, yeah, but he's really smart and he's athletic. Yes, he is, man. And I love that about him. He's also been seriously injured for 2 years straight. And maybe I just am, I don't know, man, disheartened by this whole communication emphasis from this coaching staff.
Weird.
But I think that when you got a guy like Cade who showed the ability and looked like he worked well with your quarterback and with the offensive line, I think you take that chance. I think money played a part in it. Now when Austin comes back, maybe they look at it and say, hey, we've got a nice utility piece to play right guard if Zavala is still struggling, or when Robert Hunt comes back, if we want to re-sign him for the vet min, we've got a nice backup option.
Yeah, 1,000%. And you'll remember this too, like just speaking on Austin Corbett, and then we'll move forward. But you'll remember this because you were at training camp a good amount of days.
I was, man. I live here in Charlotte, man. I'm there as often as I could be.
Almost every day. Because I know I was out there every day, and I know almost every day I saw Ricky. So you'll remember this as well. Him delivering the snap was a problem in training camp last year.
Sure was.
That people just didn't touch and didn't speak on when he won the job over Cade Mays this year, right? And so seeing that transpire, I guess, throughout the games, that to me really wasn't a shock. It was more frustration than anything because it's just like, bro, you've had 1.5 years now to get this shit right. And unfortunately, you're just not doing it. You're not executing properly.
Get the sense that he's like a really good teammate, a good dude, and everyone really likes him, right? Like I really just get that sense that he's one of those guys that everyone's like, man, we want him to play. Like we want him to be the guy because I think that it works from a chemistry standpoint. But like you just pointed out, man, Dave Canales loves to emphasize the importance of what he sees in practice and how that supersedes preseason being necessary, and how fans just have to kind of trust their opinion and their view on this stuff. Well, if he was doing this in practice last year and he's doing it on the field this year, we didn't get to see practice this year. I'm pretty sure that we could assume, right, by the science of deduction, maybe we could assume that he was making some bad snaps in practice this year. Why didn't that matter more, man? Like, why did everything else matter more? Right. And we got to move past that. If you want to be the best football team that you can be, and I'm going to segue this into one other quick thing, man, because I talked about it with John Farmer last night for One Carolina, who is terrific, by the way. We were just talking about all the content people in this space. Shout out to John, man, at One Carolina. A phenomenal dude, brilliant mind, and he's just got a great way of going about his show. So shout out to John. But we talked a little bit about, would you want the 30-year-old age limit, right, that this team sees to have, where they're just like not interested in signing some of these still quality football players, but because they're 31 or 30 years old or whatever? I think that if you're a team like the Panthers that are knocking on the doorstep, right, and you're trying to cross over that threshold from a upcoming to established and ready to fight and contend and compete team, I think you just bring in the best players that fit your culture. I don't think that the age should matter. I think that the money you got, the brain Tillis back in the front office now, like let him figure out the money, man. That's what you pay him the big bucks for. And he's been phenomenal at it. So let him keep doing his job. But from just a team standpoint, we talk about Austin with the money allocation. We talk about some of these other guys that are playing because of their draft pick, their capital from being a draft pick. I think that if you want to be genuine, that Canales likes to sell himself as, you got to start just being genuine 100% of the time and being like, look, whoever earns that helmet, that bucket on game day, they're going to get the play. It ain't nothing else to it, man. Earn the bucket and you get the play.
Yeah, 1000%. And you were talking about, potentially bringing in guys that fit your style, fit your brand of football. I'm gonna throw a couple of names at you that have kind of been, attached, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with the first one.
Yeah, probably.
CJ Gardner-Johnson. Yes or no?
That's a no for me.
Okay.
Understood. When he's right on the field, he's a ball hawk and he goes after the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think more often than not, I have heard about him not being right on the field often, and definitely not being right off the field. And I think that would be a detriment, man. I want a player back there still, but I'm also, man, the more that this is going, we both laughed a little bit when I said the communication thing from this coaching staff, because you know exactly who the hell I was talking about. But I'm gonna say something, man, that like look around and make sure that dark clouds don't start coming above me and I'm about to get hit by lightning or something. JJ, you see some weird shit and you tell me, because I'm about to say something weird.
Okay.
Nick Scott has not been bad the past couple of games.
He hasn't. Before you came in, I literally said the same thing. Like, bro, honestly, with the exception of the missed tackle in Jacksonville and the touchdown before half against Arizona, he's been okay.
He has not been bad, man. And like, I'm not even embarrassed to say that, because I'm glad to say that, right? Like, something that I always talk about with my On Tap co-host is, if there's a player that I'm low on coming into a season, I would love nothing more than for them to prove me wrong, because that honestly means that we've got a good football player where I didn't anticipate having a good football player. The more good football players that we have on the Carolina Panthers, the happier Carolina Panther fan that I get to be. So give me all of them, man. But Nick Scott has not been a bad football player for the most part of this season. And being able to play three safeties is partially because of how well Nick Scott has played, and they can still bring Lathan Ransom in and have that extra thumper, but have Nick playing deep. They still have Trevon Merrick playing deep. They'll even have Lathan Ransom covering the deep third. That versatility is huge for what we've seen with this resurgence of different formation and packages. The personnel that Evero is running is only possible because of the defensive pieces that he finally has at his disposal.
Yep. All very, very valid points. And I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you just said.
And that's crazy, right? Because both of us have been very loud about not wanting Nick Scott to be playing. But
yes,
call a spade, bro. Like, that man is playing good football, and I'm happy as hell about it.
Yeah, 1000%. And I think people get that twisted a little bit, right, bro? Like, especially with us, right? Especially with FPFO, just because we're so loud, and really more times than not, it's me.
I was gonna say, you saying y'all, or you saying I?
Right. So, like, we're just very, very loud. We get this, like, whatever. We get this tag placed on us that we're just the negative podcast. We're this, we're that. No, I don't think it's that by any stretch of the imagination. I think that we're all just very, very passionate about Carolina Panthers football, and we want wins. And if you look at the last half decade to full decade, that hasn't been the case. It just simply hasn't. So when you talk about Nick Scott and us being loud about not necessarily wanting Nick Scott on the field, right, over a guy like a Damani, or trying to get Lathan Ransom more reps, or whatever the case may be, I have no problem at all coming on our platform or any platform and saying, hey, listen, the guy has developed phenomenally. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I jumped to a conclusion too fast, but I'm happy that he's producing, because, like you said, him producing is only going to elevate the floor of this roster, number one. And number two, if that's the case, that's going to result in more wins. So I'm happy, like you said, I'm happy about, seeing him develop the way that he has and producing the way that he has. You mentioned the name earlier. And we saw the injury report came out. Xavier Legette, he's out again this week. We look at the Jacksonville game. He struggled a little bit with some of the passes that Bryce actually delivered actually great, for lack of better terms. He delivered the ball great multiple times on the sideline. We saw the inability to get his feet down. Arizona, the historic 8 targets for -2 yards. fans have multiple things to say about that. How do you feel about Xavier Leggett right now? That's the two-parter. First part, how do you feel about him right now? And secondly, do you think that this hamstring problem is really, really a hamstring problem? Or do you think that this coaching staff is kind of getting a little antsy with Xavier Leggett and using this kind of as a point to say, listen, bro, if you can't get your shit together, we have no problem moving on?
Yeah. Good questions. I like this conversation, to be honest, because I think that the Xavier Leggett thing is teetering on the way that people spoke and still speak about Bryce Young, where there are demographics within this own fan base that are almost seemingly rooting against the guy. And for me, that's counterintuitive to what you would want as a fan, right? I'm a big proponent of not going full-blown hard line unless you're ready to like stand on that forever, right? Like give yourself a little bit of wiggle room because things change swiftly in the NFL. Things change swiftly in life. So I'm just not a proponent of going super hard line unless it's something that's like a moral fabric issue for me, right? Football ain't one of those things. So I always leave this wiggle room so that I can kind of, give myself the grace that I want to give the players. Now, specifically going into XL this season, I've been disappointed with the results. I've been disappointed with the process of getting to those results. I'm going to start in the preseason with the punch on the Cleveland Brown defensive back. I don't got a single problem with the attitude and the fire. I don't have a problem with it, man. I do not need a team of white collar, follow the rules, everybody be on your best behavior, yes sir, no sir type of bullshit. I don't need that. I like an attitude. I like a dog. I want that, man. Like that's something that I grew up wanting in football and using in football, right? But my thing with that, Xavier Leggett had not had many reps in any training camp that were like meaningful that you knew it was going to translate. We could see the little videos, we could see all of that stuff, but we didn't know anything other than what was being reported. And the last time that we saw Xavier Leggett on a football field, he was dropping important passes, which he was getting open for. It's important to tell that other part of that story. He was getting open to be in position to make the catch, but he didn't finish the catch. He had some, not necessarily effort issues, but he had some motivational issues at times, I thought some of his run blocking looked disinterested. But then I also see reps of him being an extremely effective run blocker. And I see him being an extremely hard worker on the field. I chalked it all up, man, to being in his own head as a rookie, having some bad moments and getting down on himself. And then we heard him talk about mental health and trying to work through that element of football and having to compartmentalize some of those like downfalls of feeling bad and being down and feeling disappointed. So then this year, when everything started, I was like, damn it, man. The minute he did that Jonathan Mingo-esque not getting his feet in bounds when he had enough time to do like a mariachi dance in bounds, like he could have sat there and done like a real quick little thing. Like, honestly, man, he could have hit like a bachata for 3 seconds and then walked out of bounds. And when it didn't happen, man, I got nervous, to be completely honest, because I was like, that might carry over. That might suck for him. Like, he might feel bad about that. And if he feels bad, I have a little bit of worry about like that capacity to fight through that. The next game against Arizona, from my standpoint, man, just to be honest, I don't think that he got a ton of catchable balls. I think that maybe 3 or 4 of his 8 targets were catchable balls. I think that he should have caught a handful of those. I think he could have worked back to the ball a little bit more aggressively on a couple as well. And maybe that also deters Bryce Young a little bit when he's like, damn, man, come on, like fight back for me too. But then XL, can't he have the same attitude to Bryce when it's like, you're dirting him? Like, I'm open on this comeback, man, and you're dirting it for me.
Bad.
But in that game, we all will recall the walk back in the 2-minute in the first half where he just seems like he's not putting effort or isn't aware of the situation, right? Later in the game, and I never posted this clip, but JJ, you're in a group chat with me and some other people, and we've talked about some of these things, right? And we can talk about it now that I think time has passed enough. I'm comfortable having this conversation. But there's a rep on film as well where, he throws his arms up. He's like, come on, man. Like, he's like frustrated. and visibly frustrated. I don't know what the frustration is for. If it's for the miss of Tommy Tremble, who was open on the route, or if he thought that he was open. He wasn't. In my opinion, he had an underneath defender and a defender behind
over
him.
top.
Yeah,
Yep.
I thought that he was bracketed pretty nicely. I didn't think there was any throw there for Bryce Young. But he was obviously frustrated with something. When he came off the field, you could see it. That carried over. I think he's back in this mental part. So the second part of your question, how do I feel about the hamstring injury?
Yeah. Because it's very Ricky. I'll be honest. I'll give you my opinion first.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Very fishy. Very fishy. And then you hear the press conference or the couple of the questions last night in the locker room. Very fishy, bro.
Did you watch that whole video that Vashti for Carolina Blitz posted on her Instagram?
No, I just saw like the 90
like
second
13-second clip or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
where they just asked him like, could you go? Like, are you limited or could you go full play or whatever? Yeah.
Yes.
So Vashti posted a great full context clip of that entire interaction. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I feel weird about it. I watched it. I watched the way that the questions were being asked. Joe Person and David Newton just kept on. They were like, so how did this happen? Where did this pop up? You know, and like just like the typical, you know,
how they do.
Yeah.
How they do. I'm chilling on Joe, but how David does.
Yeah, I got my own beef with the first guy, but never mind. I'll pass on.
Fair enough.
But shout out Panthers on tap. They know what I'm talking about. But they keep asking him about this, and they're like, so is this a coach's decision? Is it a trainer's decision? Are you saying that you're healthy enough to play, but the coaches don't want you to come in or whatever? And X, at first he had been giving some answers that I was like, whoa, man, like, chill. That sounds bad. Where he's just sort of like, I'm doing what the coaches say I could do. I feel fine. He's like, I could do whatever I need to do. He's like, but I'm just doing what the coaches say. They want to take it slow. That to me sounded like someone was giving him a sit down, right? That sounded like someone was giving him a break. And maybe it is. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a hamstring injury, but I don't think that the hamstring injury was 100% why he's not on the field right now. The other thing that I want to bring up about that, though, JJ, I can't help but have this gut feeling that they saw this work with Bryce Young, this mental reset and this sit down. They at least saw it to an extent, right? Where they knew they were playing with fire at that moment. And I think that they were prepared. They may never say this. Dan Morgan always claims that they've always loved Bryce Young and been behind him, whatever. I think that they were prepared that if he never saw the field again, they were prepared to move on. This was a new coaching staff. You know what I mean? If they couldn't get it to work, they didn't like it in preseason, they didn't like it in camp. And then 2 games in, they're just like, hey, this ain't going to happen, man. Like, I don't want to be tied to this. It's going to pull my boat down too. Maybe they were okay and ready to move on. And then Andy Dalton all of a sudden gets his thumb hurt. And they're like, well, we're going to put Bryce back in. I do believe that they like him now. I don't think that that's like a conspiracy theory. I think that they're ready to rock with Bryce. I think he proved any doubts about his ability to be an NFL quarterback. But maybe they're doing the same thing with Xavier Legette right now and saying, hey, look, if he comes back stronger, if he responds to this in a positive manner, and he takes this moment as a not come to Jesus, that's the wrong term, but you get what I'm saying when I say that, right?
Right.
Like this is one of those look at yourself in the mirror. How bad do you want this? Do you want to keep playing for the Carolina Panthers? Do you want to make it in the NFL? Or do you enjoy everything that comes with the NFL and you're content with just getting a couple of shots here and there, right? That's an internal thing for you, man. What do you want to do? What do you want to make of this opportunity that you're given? I believe that XL wants to be great. I believe everything you hear about his work ethic, it is up to par. His work ethic is never questioned. So when we see him in the Glorilla videos, when we see him at the Kentucky Derby, when we see all of these public appearances, it doesn't necessarily bother me. But what it will do, man, fair or unfair, if you don't perform on the field, dude, you are going to face a much harder, tougher, and louder scrutiny than the guys 100%. Like a Jalen Coker, who hasn't touched the field yet either, by the way, right?
Yep.
He's got another soft tissue injury. I know we all love Coker, but he ain't adding nothing to the team right now, but he gets no smoke for that. He gets no smoke for that because his head was down and he was working. That's the difference. That's very true. And when he played last year, he was wildly effective, right?
He was balling. He was more effective than XL.
Very much so. He was one of the most effective rookies in the entire league last year at the position. But also we see Jalen Coker going on these offseason excursions with Bryce Young. When he's at a baseball game, who's sitting next to him?
Yep.
Jalen Coker. And what did you used to see with all of the great? How many times you see Julian Edelman and Tom Brady sitting with each other, right? How many times did you see, any of these great players? They're together, man. Like there is a relationship, there is a bond. And I'm not saying that they cannot have that with Xavier Legette, but I am saying that it is interesting that fans are saying that we don't have any right to criticize when nothing is translating on the field. You open yourself up to that, man. And that's part of the gig when you get paid millions to play ball.
Yeah, 1,000%. And that's
what do you think about Xavier Legette? I got to know your opinion now.
It's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
You still believe in him?
I was one of those guys. Yes, I think I do.
Okay.
I think I do. And I've had a internal debate with myself, man, throughout the whole first part of this season, because it's just like, bro, why is this not connecting? Right. So you see the plays on the sideline with Jacksonville, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, this can't be real. Like you said, bro, like I'm witnessing Jonathan Mingo again. And I was a huge Jonathan Mingo guy. But then, like you said, you look at the Arizona game, and it's just like a lot of those passes aren't catchable. Yeah. Right. So it's gonna look cute, and fans are gonna grasp onto it when you say the second player in NFL history to do XYZ. But
and he's in that very bottom left quadrant of all the cute little graphs that everyone goes ape shit for.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you look at those things, but then when you turn on the all 22, it's just like, those stats don't really tell the full story.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And I think it's a couple of different things, as is a lot of things on this team. Right. It's not just cut and dry. Oh, Xavier Legette can't do the job, or Xavier Legette can't catch the ball. I think that we have to do a better job coaching wise, putting him in better situations to be successful. And when he does get those opportunities and gets open, we have to be able to trust our quarterback to deliver the ball properly. 100%. And again, in Jacksonville, he did that, right? And we have, if we're Xavier Legette, we have to make that catch. We have to make those catches on the sideline. We 1,000% have to. But again, if you look at the Arizona game, a little bit different, bro. Like Bryce did not have, I don't know how you feel about this, but the Arizona game, Bryce Young did not play well. And I saw fans on X going crazy about he had a career high in completions and yardage and all of this.
Yeah.
But he did not play well to me, bro. There were a lot of throws that he missed. The 2 early turnovers put us in an early hole. Now you can say we didn't do our job up front. That led to the fumble and the touch, the scoop and score, whatever. We can say all of those things. But as your leader, as a quarterback that we saw perform at a very, very high level last year for a 10-game span, that Bryce Young was not on display in Arizona. And Dunk made a great point in his video after the Cardinals game, and saying people are going to get gassed up by this, but I don't think that this was a top 5 Bryce performance.
Right.
And to be honest, I think I agree with that, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
So off of that, there's a couple of different pieces as it pertains to Xavier Legette to me, which still kind of gives me hope, because I do think he's a freak athlete. I do. I think he's a freak athlete, and I think that when you give him the ball in open space, he's gonna make some things go crazy. I really, really do. And I think that last year the situation was very unique, because again, you spoke about how he spoke about the mental aspect of things and the confidence and everything like that. Right? That's tough when you're looking at a receiving core that's being led by 45-year-old Adam Thielen the year before, and then a team trades up to draft you, and they're telling you, whether it's directly or indirectly, dude, you're coming in to be wide receiver 1 for our franchise quarterback. So you got to get this shit done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Evans.
So
that's a tough sell. So
1,000%.
Man,
so
the thing about XL though, JJ, and I just want to push back on one thing you said there.
Okay, fair enough.
And you mentioned that he's a freak athlete and that in space he would make things happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned that we're looking at the straight line speed and the physical build and the vertical ability of XL. Vertical leaping ability, I mean, too, not vertical route running, right? But vertical leaping, like just the measurable athletics that he does have, that he does possess. He doesn't have a lot of short area quickness, lateral bursts, and instant acceleration. And for a lot of the ways, and this goes to your point though of the coaching staff and the creative concept usage needing to improve for Xavier Legette, if you want him to reach his ceiling, you're not putting him in great positions running quick screens or running end arounds, because there's a very infamous thing, and I call it infamous at this point. It was just regular, but it's infamous right now. If Dave Canales is talking about, we watched his tape at South Carolina, and he was great on screens and end arounds and gadget plays. Like, he was so good on all these plays. No, man, I
not really.
If you go back and you watch it, man, like, I was working for Cat Crave at the time, writing for them, and I did my draft profile for Xavier Legette. I literally asked fans, I was like, which guys do you want me to profile? And I'll go through, I'll watch all 22. And this is before I did my draft guide, right? This was actually where I got into the idea of doing a draft guide. And I did my very first one that was not nearly as extensive as the one that Edgar Salmingo Jr. and I put together this year. But it's where I really started saying, like, hey, I do this for fun anyways. I might as well put this out so that other people can laugh at me when I'm wrong, right? Like,
sure,
because that's what it is anyways, man. We're all
great
wrong
work
on this
by
stuff.
you guys, by the way, too, on that.
You what now?
I said great work on that.
Man, thank you.
You and Edgar did a phenomenal job with that.
And I appreciate it. It was a lot of work, man. But you know what? This fan base, we see other fan bases have this cool stuff, man. And
sure.
I don't think that mine, because all of the evaluations are me, and I don't feel like that's as great as getting like beat reporters and credited people to do this work for our fan base. But I was willing to try it and just see what happened for us, right?
Of course.
But the Xavier Legette thing, back to it, the draft profile, like, I did that, and I watched all the games. I watched all 22. I watched, years prior. That's not his bag, bro. Like, it's just not. Getting him in space, yes, that is a great thing, but it needs to come with a runway. Yes. He needs to hit space at full speed. He can't be at a stop or even be at a slow roll and when he receives the ball and be expected to create space. That's not what Xavier Legette does well. Xavier Legette operates extremely well when he has space. So you have to get him going full momentum, get the ball in his hand in stride, and let him go. Because if it's behind him, if it's high, he's got the hands. He can go out and he can grab it. He can catch it, man. Don't be fooled by the drops. This man can catch the ball. He's got that on his film. He can catch the ball. It's a mental hang-up right now, in my opinion, that is stopping him. But if he gets the ball in stride, in space, yeah, man, no one wants to get in front of that racehorse. 230 pounds damn near of all muscle running 4.4 at you.
Different.
You're going to make a business decision, man. You talk about a defensive back that's looking at him in the eyes. And I can only imagine the way that Xavier Legette's face looks when he is running full speed at a 5'10" DB. If it were me, I know what I'd be thinking. I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to try to hit him in the knee. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. It is what it is.
Yeah, facts.
I'm good with it, man. I got a wife and kid at home. I got to make it back to him,
1,000%. 1,000%. Our second guest has entered the chat, man. Aaron Duncan, CEO.
What up? What up, though?
Unnecessary bluntness himself. What up, though?
What up, Dunk?
Evening, fellas. Evening, fellas. How's it going?
Sipping?
How's it going? Jack, Apple, and Sprite.
There you go. I just need to make sure.
Can y'all hear me all right?
Y'all didn't tell me this is a liquor party. I wouldn't be sitting here drinking this dumbass beer.
Look, Fridays is when I cut loose, man. The kids to bed now, so I got a bunch of shows to catch up with wifey later on. So
I know that's right. I said the same thing. I said I got to stay on pace here because I walk out there later. She's gonna say, "Hey, so we watching that Netflix movie, right?" And I need to be able to be awake, bro.
Man, everything came back this week, man. Survivor. I'm behind on Invasion on Apple. I mean, I'm behind on what is it? King of Chief or whatever it is with the Jason
Chief of War. Yeah.
Chief of War, yeah. And then Morning Show came out.
Morning Show back. Yep. We just wrapped up The Girlfriend on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good little thriller thing, man. My wife loves any kind of little crime thriller, man. If there's some sex and some crime, she's like, "Hey, let's do that show."
you need a star. You need a star subscription.
That's it, man. I know it. I do, right?
Well, definitely appreciate you guys joining, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm anxious about what's gonna happen this Sunday, man. No doubt. I'm a little curious how the team responds after I wouldn't call it emotional because it wasn't really emotional. since what is it, Sleepy in our stadium. So it wasn't too emotional. According to the Falcons coaches, it's sleepy there. But after a big
weak ass city,
after that big win, so I'm just curious how they're gonna respond. The Patriots, man, they look like a bunch that's gonna have a little bit of feistiness to them. They coach the identity of Vrabel. They're not as disciplined, it seems, as you would expect from the type of guy that he is in terms of just the quote unquote Patriot way, with all the turnovers and the penalties as well. But kind of what happens when you have Ramondre Stevenson has put the ball on the ground. He put it on twice last week, and they're still going to pretty much stay with him. And then Drake May had a couple picks, and then they're in a different spot, man. So I'm curious to see how the team kind of goes out there and responds, especially with the rookies getting to start on the edges. That's probably my biggest area of concern. But I'm anxious, man. These Patriot fans, bro. I'm not even gonna say the fans, because I haven't really had too many interactions with the fans. And this is not news to me. It's probably may not be news to y'all, because I kind of picked it up when we had the joint practice in the preseason game. I guess that was 2 years ago, last year, something like that. Last year, their media, bro. Maybe it's just a Boston thing. I'm not gonna say maybe. It is a Boston thing. Some of the rudest people, bro, ever. And there's the way they talk, the arrogance and like the smugness of like just how the tone of how they are. Even I remember the preseason game, how bad their play-by-play and color analysts were, bro. How annoying it was. And we had to, me, because I'm not local, how I had to suffer through that watching it on NFL Network. It pissed me off so bad. And it's watching, because I think they recorded their joint practice too and put it on YouTube, and that was bad too. So just hearing them talk and the arrogance saying it's the worst 30-0, like, come on, man.
Yeah, they were chatting. They said it was the worst 30-0 performance they had ever seen. They didn't even deserve the 30 points, etc.
League where all you need is 25 yards. If you get a touchback, all you need is 25 yards to get in field goal range. You keep somebody off the scoreboard. That's an accomplishment, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But who am I? I'm just a Panthers fan,
Facts. Well, look, Ricky, I know that you're on a time crunch, so whenever you need to leave, you just let me know, or just hop, however you want to do it. But I'm glad that I have both of you guys here. Because I'm happy that you kind of rolled in the way that you did. Because I do want to dive into this game on Sunday. Like you said, we come up with a big win, 30-0 against a divisional foe. I personally believe that it was do or die time. If you go 0-3 with Tampa Bay sitting at 3-0, and one of those losses was against Atlanta, that uphill battle for this team, I believe, would have kind of been out of reach, just in full transparency. So I believe that you actually needed to get this win on Sunday. So that's the first thing that I'll say. But not only do you have a tough matchup, divisional matchup, week 3 against Atlanta, now you travel up north to a New England Patriots team that some would say haven't performed up to their standard, I guess you could say, over the past couple of years.
What is their standard? They won 4 games last year. That's not they don't act like it, but they won 4 games last year.
Listen,
I think
like you said, their fan base does not act like it.
I think they had expectations this year, though. I think they thought that Mike Vrabel comes home and turns them into an instant winner. I think that they think that Drake May is a golden goose. And I think that it would overcompensate for a lot of the actual holes that they have on that team.
Yep.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money.
They spent a lot of money. And I got smoked
for defensive lineman is playing decent for what it's worth.
Yeah, I got smoked for him though.
Yeah,
and they're lighting me up on X. They are lighting me up on X for my comments about Milton Williams. So, like I said, if you're a Patriots fan in this chat right now, I don't really know what to tell you. I stand by everything that I said. The shit was weird, and I understand it's big business, but that shit was lame. But like I said, I mean, you see a team that turned the football over 5 times last week, right? Going up against a defense that caused or turned the football over 3 times against Atlanta, right? We understand the injuries that we're dealing with, specifically on the edge. Talk to me just a little bit, both of you guys, just about how you're feeling going into Foxborough, the importance of the game in you guys' head, specifically with Miami and Dallas, and then 2 weeks after that, Buffalo, and kind of getting into the tougher part of the schedule. Y'all just tell me kind of how y'all are feeling heading into Foxborough on Sunday.
I really don't feel anything much these days. I don't like all these road games early on though. It's a little bothersome. I do want to see how we respond going back on the road with all the procedure issues we had the first 2 games. I think a lot of that pre-snap and all that stuff, obviously the missing the strike zone on snaps, that kind of is what it is. But I think a lot of the clunkiness that we did pre-snap, I think had a lot to do with us being on the road. I think the procedures that you go through with that, when it comes to breaking the huddle, we do shifting every so often. We did a lot more of that at home because you don't have to kick your leg up. Damian Lewis looking behind him, turns left, taps the center, and then you snap. That's an extra 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds that you need on the play clock. So that's something you don't have to worry about. It was quiet as a mouse when we were on offense. Salute to the fans for keeping it G on that spot. So I want to see what we figured out, because I didn't look at the statistics, but according to just listening to Mike K and just the naked eye, we ran a lot more motion and shifts than usual. A lot of that was a product of trying to window dress our running game, which I think was pretty much telegraphed a lot to our first 2 opponents, which is why we struggled. And so we kind of window dressed it up with some tight ends actually to the side that we run to when we usually don't run those type of formations. And then we just kind of, like I said, we're gonna window dress that with that. And that takes a little bit more time as well. So do we bring that with us in our luggage when we go up to there, when we know we have a little bit more time it's going to take there? And so I'm curious to see how they respond being on the road and that standpoint. As far as defense, I want to see how they respond as well. Can you carry that momentum? It seems like they carried the momentum from the Cardinals game into this one. You could kind of see. And if you kind of took out, and it's like, you hate to say that, if you take out this, that, whatever, we did all right. But against Jacksonville, and the aim of this defense, you're going to give up rushing yards. I don't think we're ever going to be an elite run defense, and I don't think Israel cares. I looked up some statistics. I think it was the last 10 years or 15 years, the Super Bowl winner, they've been a quality defense, but their DVOA versus the run wasn't even top 10. So you don't have to be an elite run defense. You just can't give up the big plays. And I think that's what we did a good job of last week. Bijan got his 72 yards. He averaged probably 4 or 5 yards a carry, but he just never got that big home run or chunk yard. And we stuffed him a pretty good amount of times compared to the week 18. All that being said, I just want to see how this team comes out and responds. These next few games, like you mentioned, are kind of like the who's who of who's who, if that makes sense. We don't really know what any of these teams are. Everybody's kind of like, we may be good, they may be bad. We don't know what they are. They're kind of mid. We don't know what the pecking order of that mid is. So we can kind of rise to the top in this scenario if we can kind of get a couple wins out of this little run. I don't want to look too far ahead, obviously, but Miami, they're 0-3, they're reeling, but everybody expected a little bit more from them. Dallas, of course, they're in that weird spot. They have a lot of talent, of course, but they have injuries and they do Dallas things at times, and we've matched up with them damn near every year the past 4 years. And it hasn't been pretty for the most part. So I think it's just a not a murderer's row, but it's a constant stream of mid to see who's who of this mid. Are you going to be in that lower tier, top 15, top 10 type of pick, or are you going to be in that mid-range competitive area? Nobody that's world beaters, but we don't know who any of these teams are so far. So we're just going to figure out who it is.
I think that's a great way to look at it. This whole who's going to separate themselves from the mid of the pack, right? Because I don't think that any of these teams that we're playing against in this stretch are necessarily looked at as, hey, they're going to compete in the postseason. They're on the cusp of really making a run. But I also don't think you look at these teams and say they're completely, lacking talent in key positions, and that they're not well coached, and that they don't have promise. They don't have upside. They do. They're perennial losers that are trying to make it the same way that the Carolina Panthers have been perennial losers, and they're trying to make it out of that situation. For this game specifically, there's a couple things that give me hope, and there are a couple things that I'm looking at, right? What New England does offensively and what Atlanta and even Arizona, when you just look statistically speaking about what they do with their personnel packages and how they want to run their offense. All three of these teams are in the top 8 of 12 personnel usage. They want to run a little bit heavier personnel. They want to have 2 tight ends out there. They want to make your defense have to like make the decision about what they're doing. And they also pass out of that 12 personnel over 50% of the time. So it's not some sort of like old school, we're going to line up, put heavy guys on the line, and we're just going to run it down your throat. You gotta account for it. It's the way that they stay most multiple. The encouraging thing to me is that in that Atlanta game, we talked so much. JJ, you and I were just talking about this earlier before Dunk joined. And the game flow of those 2 games at the beginning of the season completely threw us off of our plan. That's getting hit in the mouth in a heavyweight fight, and all of a sudden you're not looking to counter, you're looking to survive. What we can do, what we showed we could do against Atlanta is that if you don't get behind in that situation, Atlanta runs 12 personnel 38% of the time on the season. That includes that game, 38% of the time. They ran 12 personnel 9 out of 73 offensive plays against us on Sunday. New England runs it about 39% of the time. And that is their base offense, essentially. They run 11 personnel so rarely. I think it's like 20% or 15%, where the league average is closer to 40. We run 11 personnel a lot. So that's the matchup I'm looking there, because if you can get them out of that 12 personnel, we get to find our way back into those dime packages where we're finding something, man. Ejiro Evero has found something that is working with the personnel that he has. And the really cool news about that is you're bringing Turk Wharton back, potentially. If you bring Turk Wharton back and he gets to play in a similar role of what we've seen A'Shawn Robinson and even Derek Brown playing in those dime fronts, where he's the one down lineman, he provides a real serious interior pass rush. And Jared Wilson, their left guard, is out. Now, he's a rookie playing a little bit out of position. He was my top-rated center out of Georgia. But he's a good football player. He's just acclimating to that position. But you know what it means? If he was their starting left guard and he's out, we're playing against the guy that he beat for that job. Like, we're not talking about a first-round pick that was handed that job. That's the guy next to him. That's Will Campbell, right? And Will Campbell's been okay against in pass pro. He hasn't been bad, but he also hasn't looked great. I remember a rep against the Las Vegas Raiders where Tyree Wilson, we'll all remember him, right? Guy out of Texas Tech, was a big-time recruit, big-time draft guy, drafted in the top 10. Hasn't really amounted to anything. All he did pretty much for the majority of that game was bull rush Will Campbell. And he was able to get a sack out of it. He could just move him back. He could push him backwards. Long arms give problems. DJ Johnson, the only thing that we've been able to see from him so far this year is that the bull rush is still the only move that he has. Nick Scorton's going to be playing a lot. Maybe you just say, hey, look, go bull rush the hell out of Will Campbell on pass downs, right? Like, we've seen that work for one guy. Let's just try it. That's all you got anyways, right? From a defensive standpoint, the thing that I fall back on a little bit, and I'm just giving like one stat for each side just to kind of give a little bit of perspective about why we have at least a puncher's chance, if not a decent chance of winning this game, is the Falcons ran cover 1 for like 43% of that game against us in week 1. We talked about how much we left on the table against that Falcons defense, right? The Patriots run about 42% of cover 1. Now, they run out of nickel very heavily. They're a nickel almost 70% of their time in nickel personnel. But cover 1 is the cover that they go to. That's the coverage that they end up playing out of. Now, they do a decent amount of simulated pressures where they'll mug up on the line. They'll have 5 or 6 guys. Typically, what you'll see is they had 11 out of 27 of their blitzes, according to NFL Pro. Watching their film, breaking it down, you can break through and categorize which reps you want to look at, if you want pressures, no pressures, blitz, all those things. Looking at it, 11 out of 27 of their recorded blitzes on NFL Pro came on first down. This is an early blitzing football team. And then a decent amount are in second down. I think they had 8 on second and 9 for the other ones to round it out. They like to blitz early, and it's a lot of it is on your own side of the field. So that's something to consider when you see them. If they're showing 5 or 6 at the line on first downs, maybe that's a little bit of an idea that the probability of them blitzing is higher than not. So that's an area to watch for. But the coverages being the same and seeing how much that Bryce Young and this offense left on the table against Atlanta, clean it up, man. Clean up the offensive execution, and maybe you get a little bit more than more juice out of the squeeze than what you asked for in Carolina last week.
Yeah, that's a good nugget. I didn't the early blitz and a lot, and the goal usually with that, and This is kind of a Flores thing as well. Flores is the same way. He likes to go early to get you behind the sticks.
That's
then
right.
You can dictate the whole scenario. So you get it behind the sticks right away. Then you can kind of get into a more predictable scenario where you're at the advantage because you can kind of run the coverage that you like. So
100%.
A lot of people, some people like to heat up on third down. It's just certain coordinators' philosophy. I'm not really familiar with obviously New England. They have their thing going on with their coordinator right now. So prayers up to him. But just as far as their identity, that's something interesting. And with Christian Gonzalez, I'm sorry, coming back, expect even more man coverage. Now, I'm not familiar with Christian Gonzalez's game in terms of, is he a traveler? Is it that type of system? If you're playing man coverage, I'm sure they're probably going to make him travel. So we saw T-Mac get a lot of work in the slot. I would assume he's going to travel there because I don't think they're going to put Marcus Jones, who's about my size, 5'8", 185 pounds, on T-Mac in the slot.
Davis the third.
Carlton Davis, he may be on him a little bit. Who knows? But Carlton Davis is a grabber as well. He's one of those guys that gets a lot of flags too. So there you have some long physical guys, and we're gonna have to see what we can do. And we've seen some man beaters from Canales a couple times. I would love to see it early. We did it this time. That wheel route to it was a rub route, but pretty much I guess you can call it out and up the T-Mac. That's something that we ran with Thielen a few times last year. I don't know if you remember early on in that Arizona game, we ran one like that. And then I think we ran one early during the blowout during the Saints game. So that's something that we've run before. And they have a couple nice man beaters that they have in the bag. And so we'll see what they can cook up there because those are going to be the type of action you want to see. I'm expecting a guy like Hunter Renfrow to get some good work too as well. If you're playing man coverage with Hunter, if we can have the time, I think he can get him into some space, clear it out underneath for him. He can kind of put some work in as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how we counterpunch that. I don't think we're going to shy away from trying to run the ball, and I wouldn't either, especially on the road. I know the numbers. People keep throwing the numbers at me. But I saw early in the game Jalen Warren pop a couple on them. You know what I'm saying? Getting downhill on them, getting outside. You know what I'm saying? And just doing some things there. So I want to see us try to go in there and establish it. It's early, so you can't just say, "Oh, I wouldn't try running against these guys. They're just a steel curtain of whatever." I mean, test them. It's early. People are going to test us. Running, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though we had a shutout, we're going to be tested. Especially with rookie edges out there, we're going to be tested. So I want to test them, man. I want to see what we got on the inside. Can you lean on this big offensive line? And I think we actually need the run game to really get going to help us protection-wise. You can tell it gets our offensive line going. It gets them settled in. It keeps the opposition off balance. And I just think it's something that will keep it keeps us ahead. It keeps us on schedule as well. It takes that pressure off of Bryce. So I'm just curious to see how they respond game plan wise. I want to see what Canales and them have in the bag with the guys we're gonna have.
Can I say, JJ, my favorite thing about what Dunk said, and this is what I was trying to allude to with the statistics that I brought up with Atlanta and how we limited them in that 12 personnel, is you talk about dictating the rest of the game, right, Dunk? You talk about dictating situations. That's what Carolina has to do. Carolina has to find themselves in that position of power, if you will. They cannot fold or bend to what New England wants them to do, because if they do, they don't have the personnel for that. Carolina, meaning I don't think that they want Trevin Wallace and Christian Roseboom to be on the field for 70% of plays. I just don't think that that's necessarily what they want, that combination. Especially when you look at the way that Drake May in that offense target Hunter Henry in the tight end position. I think that that's a problematic situation. I think that getting into those dimes, getting into some big nickel looks, I think that that's a lot more advantageous for the Carolina Panthers. But if they're behind and New England is kind of carrying that torch of, hey, follow us, this is how we're going to execute this game, and we don't have a choice but to kind of like play that same game with them, I don't think that works well for Carolina. I think what we saw last week with Atlanta was the guess who your dad is, right? Like guess who gets to put you in timeout if I want to put you in timeout, or guess who lets you play a little bit if I feel like you've earned it, right? Like that's what I think Carolina needs to get into, and I think that's their recipe for success against this New England team.
Your best guess, how do they counter 12? You think they go with base? Because I looked at that. Somebody dropped a nice chart about how Each team is defended by whatever personnel.
Anthony Reichard or Reinhardt, I believe.
Yeah. Do you think and it seemed like a lot of teams counter their 12 with base, and that seems like that would be probably our way to go, our tendency, I would think. But I don't know. Do you think we go nickel and maybe instead of bringing in a Shaw since he's smaller, we bring in Ransom and put Morik down at that extra quasi linebacker or big nickel? Or do you think
I really think that's possible, man? And I think that Turk being back might actually open that up even more because of what you could do versatility wise there. Like base, I do understand the allure of having Derek Brown, Bobby Brown, Ashawn Robinson. Like that's heavy up front, right? Without sacrificing all of your pass rush ability there. Because I still think that those guys give you some push, right? Ashawn is, we should at this point just call him upper right quadrant Ashawn. Because he's up there, man. He's on all those, all those analysis charts, man. Like everyone is in love with that. To the point where we got people saying he's better than Derek Brown. Slick, I love you, man, but don't say that kind of
insane.
Insanity. But moving on from that part, though, like I do think the base could work. The problem that I have with base, though, is if they attack, because like I said, they throw 53% of the time out of 12. So 12 isn't just a run heavy thing for them, right? They throw the ball, I think, 60% of the time on offense total, which means that when they're in very pass friendly formations, they're throwing it obviously more, but they're supposed to. But them throwing it out of 12 as often as they do, man, that keeps them very multiple. I don't really want to have Christian Roseboom guarding Hunter Henry. I really don't want that, man. Yeah. But what you just talked about with the nickel, I think that you could even see situations that with Pat Jones and with DJ Wanamaut, what's to stop them from having a Derek Brown, Ashawn, 2-man down, right, on the line, and then having Scorton and maybe even Turk as at that 4
or 5.
Exactly. Yeah. And then having, look, you can still have Trevin out there, right? Trevin, and then you have maybe Merrick come down, play on that quasi linebacker, then have Lathan, like you said, at that big nickel as opposed to Shaw sometimes. But if you have Shaw in there, look, the one thing about Shaw, he is small, man. But the one thing about Shaw, he's not scared to get physical. He's not scared to mix it up. And he will tackle, man. He'll make a tackle. But he's slight. He's slight of frame, right?
Yeah.
But I do think he's a playmaker, and you're going to want playmakers out there too, because Drake May, now he's not Michael Penix Jr., but you can speed him up a little bit. He's still a young player, man. And if you go back and you watch that Vegas game, he missed open receivers. He missed them because of being sped up. Vegas blitzed him a good amount, man.
Yeah, if you muddy that pocket, he'll
and their interior on Ye, but that means he's dealing with something. Jared Wilson's already out. Will Campbell is a rookie. Like, this is an offensive line that is gelling, and we know as Panthers fans, we know what it means to have a young gelling offensive line. It means that you're susceptible to lapses, and I think that you try to exploit that. I think that the Panthers have been most effective out of their sub packages. So I think base makes sense, but I really want Evero to lean into what they're doing well. And I want the game flow from the offense to allow that.
So do you think, and what I've just noticed is, and they're one of the few teams that they have a straight drop back passing game from under center, which is very, very rare. Obviously, it's Josh McDaniel. You know, he has the Tom Brady days. The quick passing game is everything for them. They're throwing to the running backs. They're throwing these quick outs. They're taking everything. We're a team that gives a lot of cushion. Yep. So I'm really not concerned, but I know we have to get a little blitz heavy because we're not a quick pressure type of team. I'm curious to see what the answer is there, because I love JC and he can play. He's comfortable playing with limited space, but I think Mike Jack operates more with key in the quarterback, eyes up, quarter turn, facing the quarterback,
everything in front of him.
Yeah, peripheral vision on there, playing that off coverage, and they're gonna nickel and dime all day if they can. And I've seen them do it, obviously. And I'm not really worried about anybody receiver wise for them, but when you're talking about a quick drop back game and just throwing a quick pass, that's pitch and catch practice. So I'll be curious to see how we try to counteract that. Do we come up a little bit more on those type of coverages? Do we run a lot more cover two like we did last week, which was very, very amazing for me to see, actually, and a great change up, because we have those type of corners that they like to bait those. They like to bait and jump routes when it's there, and if they have to play going forward, that's a lot more advantageous than a Mike Jack. And because Mike Jack's not going to get beat deep if he's running cover 3. That's the one thing that happens to him. And that's why he gives up so much underneath.
That's right.
But when you're playing cover 2 and he can actually come up and key and make plays, I think that's a good way to go. And I was shocked we ran that much cover 2.
Dude, they ran cover 2 like 25% of the game last week.
I'm expecting us to run a lot more cover 2 this week with that short passing game.
And that's why I think that nickel works out so well, especially if you bring Ransom in as a big nickel, or even Shaw. You know, Shaw works there, but Ransom, I think, makes a lot of sense for the run game, especially competing against 12 personnel, right? But that cover 2, man, you play a little bit more cloud coverage where you're only off that 3 or 2 to 4 yards, right? As opposed to being that 7 yards off and off coverage. I think that still allows you to have that key ability that you're talking about and having the receivers in front of you for a guy like Mike Jack. JC, I don't worry about it, man. Like, no. JC, you could ask him at this point. I think you could ask JC to run just about any coverage mechanism that you could think of, and I'm confident in him executing that at a high level.
Scheme proof.
He's scheme proof, man. That's a baller, dude. We got a baller over there, and it's time to just go ahead and like readily admit that. For anyone that is still saying like, yeah, but availability is the best ability. It is. That's true. But he's been available too, and he's showing out, man. So like, let's let the hurt go for a second and just enjoy what the hell we got over there, man. Because 8 is a special player. But Mike Jack right now is also playing some really good football, and you got to credit him for that. Now he's taking advantage of the opportunities that he's given, and the coverage that he's being asked to run works well for his wheelhouse. Yeah, but that's also smart coaching, man. Like, I'm not going to fault Mike Jack for that.
That's EJ.
He's good at what he's good. He's good at what he's good at.
Why the heck?
They're not asking him to do anything that he's not good at.
Yes, we would be livid right now if we were sitting there. We're like, we're just running 0 on 40% of plays, and we're asking Mike Jack to press and tail and be able to shadow somebody. Like, that ain't his game, man. He would be exploited in a heartbeat. But we're smart enough and self-aware enough to know what he can be successful in, and we're putting him in that position. That's where that cover 2, again, man, I'm with you 1,000%, Dunk. That might have been my highlight of watching. Like, I love the dime looks. I think that it's the most creative thing that Evero's been able to get this defense into. Because, again, you and I, the three of us have been in this group chat. We've been talking about it. We have talked about simulated pressures in that group chat. It is something that we have brought up for a while. And seeing them actually do that, they're opening up, man. When JJ and I were talking, when we talked about Canales and the way that he's, you know, this chess type player when it comes to the offense, almost like a heavyweight fight where he's setting up counters. He's setting up moves later on. Like, maybe it's not working right away, and that's going to frustrate some fans, but there's an overall game plan to the things that he's doing. There's a science behind what he's doing. And if you watch the entire layout, it will make sense. It's just not always executed well, but it will make sense when you watch it. I think that's a little bit of what's happening even with the defense right now. While they mix these things in and you see these percentages of these coverages and these silos and these blitzes going up, that's setting up for that counter punch that he could do out of those formations. We talk about that coffee house pressure that is a rage right now. I think that is a real thing for Trevin Wallace, if you want my honest opinion. I think that Trevin Wallace, having the athleticism that he has, you show him mugging the line, then you have him drop back, spin around and get his momentum. I honestly think that could work for Trevin. And I think that you can set that up with some of these looks, especially at a nickel. I think that's what you do, man. You give people the worry and the concern about Trevin Merrick coming off the end, because that's what they're showing right now. Show that and then drop him back, or bring him to and bring Trevin. There are so many different possibilities that they could work in right now, and I'm glad that they're at least opening it up.
Breaking tendencies, bro, and that's what it's about. I thought both sides did it well last Sunday. I think breaking the tendency of just mixing up the coverages. We're going to run our cover 3. That's just what we are. And I think people get a little frustrated because, like, cover 3, people have that background in football. They know cover 3, the weaknesses are the seams and stuff like that. But the way we run it, it's not country cover 3. Country cover 3 is you spot drop. You have flats, you have curl hook, you're going to drop to that. That's country cover 3. We run a match 3. That's why you see JC on one side. He'll be pressed up because when you're on that boundary corner, you pretty much are locked up man to man with that, and that gives them versatility everywhere else. Obviously, based on how the match principles are going to vary, and who's dropping down and where is going to change up. So that's kind of the wild card part of it in terms of what you're seeing. But that's where we like to, and that's just a facet of all Fangio systems. You start in too high and you rotate to whatever, but you're not, more likely than not gonna play some 3. We mixed in 2 obviously last week. Obviously, you're gonna mix in some cover 6 and cover 8, which is pretty much quarter, half, or half, quarter, just whatever it is. But I just think that the variety and the breaking the tendencies is really what was the advantage last week. And from Canales, we really didn't we ran zone stuff, but we opened up with gap stuff. We had the power O was our first run play. We ran a toss sweep, getting big ick on the run. We had another power O later in the game, and we ran a lot of duo, and then we came back with our mid zone stuff. But instead of doing it in regular, we had tight ends there. We had tight ends going in motion to fake to the flat, and we just I love the way that we kind of mix things up, and I've said it before. I think Canales is more of a reactive coach than a proactive coach. He needs that data. He needs that information to see how people are counteracting him, and then I think he's a problem-solving type of guy that he'll put in a plan together later. Unfortunately, it comes at the cost of us losing 2 games. Maybe if you know that you're self-aware, you kind of put your playbook out there a little bit in preseason to see how it's counteracted, and then you troubleshoot there. That way you're not taking 2 L's off the jump to react there, because I felt like that was the same thing that happened last year. He started to figure out finally what worked for this team, what worked for Bryce. He's more of a reactive guy. And so that's just the way it's been. But like I said, I'm happy they broke tendencies, and it was actually, and JC said that EJ called a perfect game. I have to agree. To do something like that and not get that much pressure, you did something pretty well. You mixed up the coverages. You had the quarterback confused. You hit him early, so he felt you, and so he just never got comfortable. And I think that was, and I said it. I think I said it in the group chat. This is probably the ideal Ejiro game. We gave up rushing yards, of course. We just never gave up the big one. We kept everything in front of us. We limited explosives, and we confused them with coverages. That's the Ejiro way. So
if the whole worry about giving up too much of the offensive playbook in the preseason, if that's a real thing, look, if you're giving up the nuclear codes because of a quarter of football in the preseason, then we've got a bigger problem at hand. Like, honestly, our homeland security has a big problem if the nuclear codes are exposed in the first game of a preseason, right? But I'm with you. You got to actually workshop the things that happen. And JJ and I had that conversation earlier too. Get real life situations under the belt, so that when you go in there, you're not, it's a cold start, right? It's like saying it's a 27-degree day in Charlotte, North Carolina. You go out and you start your car and expect to just drive to work. It's going to take a minute for all that frost to get off the windshield. It's going to take a minute for your butt cheeks not to be frozen as hell on the leather seat. Like, warm the car up, man. Start the engine. Let the heat run for a little bit. It don't got to be 90 degrees inside the car, but get it nice and toasty so that you're comfortable when you actually go out there on your morning commute, right? I'll leave it there, guys. That'll be my weird analogy to end it tonight. I got to get out there and get on this Netflix and maybe watch some weird movie about like spiders in a wall or something crazy like that.
Well, Ricky, definitely appreciate you joining us tonight, bro. Let the people know where they can find you. If they want to hear you talk more, if they want to, see some of your work, whatever the case may be.
Man, if anybody wants to hear me talk more, I'd suggest going to therapy or something first, because I feel like I have just done so much yapping. But I appreciate very much, JJ, you guys, Dunk. It was awesome to be on with you tonight. Everyone that has had me on their show, and then my guys that I co-host with Panthers on Tap. That's where you can find me, at Panthers on Tap. We usually go live Wednesday night at 9 p.m. My Twitter handle is right here. It's the obnoxious glowing thing above my head, at Ricky Bowbody. Shout out my wife for that as well. She's terrific and always knows that I should brand myself, and I'm an idiot who's almost 40 years old and doesn't know anything about that. But yeah, if you want to follow me, if you want to hear me talk more ball, that is my favorite thing to do. I will talk with just about anybody unless you say really stupid shit online, and then I just kind of ignore you because it's better for me to do that. But for the guys that I spent tonight with, man, y'all are awesome. Dunk is, he's going to sit here and he's going to carry this thing. So you don't need me anymore. We had our fun, JJ, but now you got the real deal. You got the Bleacher Report man in the building. So I can go and finish my Champagne Velvet $1 million flavor beer and enjoy myself, because you're in great hands here, man.
For sure.
I'm just a guy, man. I'm just a guy.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Famous.
He's big time. I'll be telling him every time he comes on the platform. He's big time.
Hey, look, the only person that says I'm just a guy is someone who's more than just a guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
I appreciate you, fellas. I'll see you. Y'all
all right, Rick, man. Take it easy, Ricky.
Brother, man, what's happening?
Nothing much, man. I seen people asking about Bryce. I saw Doug. What's up, Doug? ask about Bryce. Is my volume better? I tried to back up a little bit from it, but if I'm still loud, let me know.
Yes, I believe you're better, but they'll let us know because they're the ones that told me.
Okay.
My headphones are actually about to die, so I might have to do something in a second. But
okay,
we should be good. We should be good.
Yeah, man. I'm and people said they're 29th ranked pass defense, and I think a lot of that has to do with Christian Gonzalez not playing. So I'm kind of throwing that out the window per se. And so I still don't think we should shy away from the running game, man. I just still don't. I think we have to establish the ground game for everybody's sake. When I tell you the difference, man, like the trickle down effect from us being able to run the ball, looking at like, and I told people that the Arizona game, passing the ball 55 times is just not a recipe for success because it puts our offensive line at a disadvantage because they know that we're dropping back. It puts Bryce at a disadvantage because I just think the sweet spot for Bryce is probably 30 to 35 pass attempts per game. And then just in general, the defense, we don't have sustained drives. Sometimes we can go 3 and out, and your drives aren't long, and so they get fatigued. So there's a trickle down effect. Having that run game, being able to go play action, it helps Icky. It helps Moton too. Moton gave up 5 pressures against Arizona. When you drop back 55 times, you're gonna give up a lot of pressures. That's just how it is. Sometimes you're gonna get fatigued, and especially when guys are talented, they know you're gonna pass because you're in comeback mode. It happens, and so I think that balance in the play action is what's going to open up everything for this offense. So I think we have to try to establish the line of scrimmage. And it may not be pretty, and it may not be, I mean, I'm not gonna say easy, but it may not be something that gets going right away. But I think we have to be stubborn with the run to try to establish and own that line of scrimmage. I think that's just how it's gotta be. And in terms of Bryce, he just has to again take care of the football, man. Like everybody said it last week, like, dude, let's see we don't know what this team is. And I said it, I don't know the Panthers' identity. We're down in the hole as soon as the game starts. And Isaac said it today. I think Canales said it on Panthers Huddle. Like, hey, let's see what type of team we have when we don't spot them 10 points. Are we trash? If we don't stop them 10 points, we'll find out. But we're not gonna get that answer if we keep spotting these teams' points. So don't turn the football over. Like, whatever you do, if you have to run it, if you're risk averse and not take them shots downfield, protect the ball. Just protect the ball. That's literally what I think it comes down to for Bryce. And those 4 or 5 plays where we need you to be special and the opportunities there, you have to take advantage. You have to. And so that's where I'm at right now with Bryce. As we start to establish this rhythm, he gets on the same page, hopefully, with Renfro, T-Mac as well down the field in terms of those attempts. As we start to finally iron out those kinks, I think the big plays and stuff will come because they've been there. The opportunities have been there. We just haven't made the plays. So I just think that we have to just take care of the ball. Like the ball is the most important thing. Canales said it before. Taking the sack isn't the worst thing. Just going down and eating is not the worst thing. So I just think we got to take care of the football and establish that line of scrimmage, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you speak about the big plays. I think when Jalen Coker comes back, I think that's going to help that as well. I think that's going to help catapult that as well. And I know that he's still being deemed week to week, so it seems like we're still a little while away. I know his window isn't open yet, but the faster he comes back, the sooner he comes back, I think the better this offense will look. Specifically, Bryce Young.
Yeah, if we can survive this week, and I say survive, I ain't win. I think we're going to be in good shape. Miami's defense is terrible. Dallas secondary is terrible as well. They originally said 4 to 6 weeks for Jalen, and so we haven't really gotten an update. But that was the original prognosis. So if he could come back next week or the Cowboys game, I mean, I guess it won't be next week because he hasn't been activated. It'll probably be Cowboys will probably be the earliest, and that's if they activate him next week. That would be a good time to really get on track and really try to get your confidence together before you start going against some legit competitors. But I try not to look too far ahead on the schedule because we're just not the type of team that can afford to do that. So we have to, every week is a new challenge. And so I just want to see what this team actually is. Like I said, without turning the ball over. And let's go on the road and see if we can do it this time. You know what I'm saying? We protect the bank. finally with a big time win. Let's go on the road and make some shape.
Mm-hmm. And you speak about that, right? And just talking about the cohesion on the offensive side of the football. And you speak about just being stubborn with the run. That was something that me and Ricky talked about before you hopped on, was the fact that I believe this offense is struggling, and specifically Bryce Young, when you look at just his slow start. I think it's because we haven't been able to establish and maintain that run.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first opportunity that you get to see that happen against Atlanta, right? You see the offense kind of does a little bit better. Bryce doesn't put the ball in harm's way as much, right? So I think those two things go hand in hand, to be honest. Off of that, how do you like our chances against the interior D-line of the New England Patriots when you're rolling out a guy like a Chandler Zavala?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm frightened. I
Me
don't
too.
and specifically for Zavala. K Mays, I'm fine with. We've seen him go against some pretty stiff competition last year. Zavala gives me, I'm losing a little bit of sleep about him being matched up potentially in a pass rush scenario with a Milton Williams. And now he's a guy that has some quickness off the line. When you're talking about a guy that's like powerful and stuff like that, and you can maybe give a little bit of a better opportunity to Zavala on that standpoint. But this is a guy that's quick off the ball. In terms of pass rush, he's fourth in the league in interior pass rush pressures with 11. So this is something that you're going to want to pay attention to. Like, do we slide protections that way? Do we leave Icky on the island with the Landry or whomever? Like, what is going to be the strategy for that? And do we run at Milton? I would run his way personally. I think he's better when you don't run away from him because he can use his quickness to try to penetrate and get to the backfield. But if you run right at him, double team him, get him, try to make him work. I think that's something that I would try to do. I would try to do more of that downhill approach and the gap scheme stuff more so than the zone stuff that he can use his finesse. So I'll run right at him. I would run right at him. We have a big offensive line, man. They want to run the ball. They're physical. Lean on these dudes, man. And I think everybody feeds off of it, especially the interior. Cade Mays has a little nastiness to him. You know what I'm saying? So I want to run the ball. Like I said, it's week 3. I don't care if y'all give up 60 yards a game. We'll test them. Test them.
That's all you can do.
Find out
this early.
Find out.
Yeah.
Find out if it's legit.
Right.
And so and I want to see them stay with it. And again, like Rick said, like you said, not turn the ball over, and the game flow is going to be everything. Do we have a lead? Are we down? Are we up 3-0? Are we up 7-0? Can we strike first? I think striking first is so imperative. And I think that missed field goal last week initially was so big because
huge.
It was a letdown for them because they just signed bruh, and he went 5 for 5, and he missed it. Not really a chippy, but it was like 49. It was 49 yards, makeable.
Yep.
He missed it. And so that was big for them because it was like, oh, Lord, like we were moving the ball. We were doing good. And then we got stopped. And then we came right back down with our scripted drive, went for it on 4th, got in the zone. I think that set the table for everything. Because one, you automatically up a possession because they got ball first and you have the lead after the first. Everybody has one possession. And then it just mentally what we were able to do to like, okay, the defense held tough and we missed the field goal. They had confidence. Then we finally started hitting Penix. We started kind of settling in. We figured out that, hey, we can slow the run down. You know what I'm saying? We've been stymieing Bijan. So I think game flow matters so much to our defense. This is probably the first time in a while that we've had an early lead like that. I would think defensive-wise that, like, we were able to really kind of hunt, versus, like, being on our heels, it feels like all the time with EJ. So
and that changes that changes everything, bro. That changes everything.
We were seeing stuff we have never seen from Ejiro, bro. And he was moving different, bro. And so I'm like, man, I gave him all the credit on my stream, and I want to see more now. You know what I'm saying? Like the standard has been set. I'm not gonna say it's even a standard. We've seen what you're capable of. How close to that every week can you be? I don't expect you to beat a steel curtain. I think our defense is going to be capped by our ability to get pressure. I don't think we have the dogs up front to be a high pressure type of team just by getting 4. I think our blitzes could be a little bit better getting home, but I still think we're going to be capped. But are you, obviously, I don't think we're the worst defense in the league anymore, but are you a 16, a 17, a 15th ranked defense that is competitive enough that, hey, if your offense complements you, you can have a good day? Or are you going to be in the 20s, the mid 20s and the high 20s, whatever? And so I think we've seen what they're capable of. I just want to see how close we can get to that on a week by week basis moving forward. That's my thing. And I'm excited actually to see how the defense responds because Josh McDaniels is a very creative offensive coordinator. And I just want to see what the test is because this is the upgrade in quarterback. Even though he's young, Penix is not a good quarterback at all to me. I'm just going to be honest. He's trash in my eyes. I don't think he's ever going to be good personally. I just see some issues that I just think that at his big age, if he ain't figuring them out by now, they may not ever get right, but I think Drake May's a little bit more composed. He's more mobile. And I think the offensive coordinator and play caller is a lot better as well. So I think we have the confidence. I like our D-line. I want to see how this team defensively responds. That's what I'm going to be looking at the most.
Yeah. For sure. And let me ask you a question, just kind of building off of that, because I know you and Ricky probably 5 or 10 minutes ago were talking about just the ability to muddy up the pocket, right? We saw it a couple of times, actually pretty much throughout the whole game, right, with Atlanta. The standard was set early with the hit from Trayvon Merrick, right? And then you just continue to build off of that. With DJ Wanham and Pat Jones both being out, do you think that these young guys, specifically Nick Scorton and Princely, do you believe that they're prepared for the challenge? Because I think that it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge to get after the quarterback, as it always is. And even if you don't get there, like we saw with Atlanta, you don't have to always get there. But as long as you can speed those mechanics up, good things will happen on the back end. And we saw that happen twice for the Carolina Panthers last week with the pick 6 and then the pick 6 that should have been with Mike Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to make them feel you. If you get there early, and these guys don't like taking them type of hits. And obviously, I'm not wishing injury on somebody, but Drake May got his head dribbled off the turf last week, and
he did.
He was in the protocol. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked he came back in the game, and especially for a guy that has a history of concussions, that they allowed him to come back in the game, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there now. But he's a guy that's taken some hits, and if you muddy the pocket, he's going to try to escape. But he's nimble and he can move. But if you dirty it up enough, you can get to him. Now, obviously, we're not Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a lot better pass rushers. They have that man number 90. But I think if you can get up the field with a guy like Princely and Scorton, and I had confidence in our interior, especially with them having those injuries, we may be able to muddy that up and make it a little bit dirtier for him to try to escape. And then it may not be an immediate quick sack or pressure, but it could be something that you come around and clean up. Like, because Scorton has that high motor, he's never going to stop coming after the football. And so maybe you can get some cleanup sacks that way versus just traditional quick sacks and quick pressures. But I'm a little concerned about Princely in the run game. I'm not going to lie. And what Ricky was talking about, doing that 4-man front of Scorton, Ashawn, DB, and then put Turk at an edge and only having maybe one guy stand up. That's something that I can see us doing early on, because to me, I'm just done with DJ Johnson, bro. He can rotate, but I'm not going to start him. Just because I'm not confident in Princely playing the run, I'm not going to start DJ Johnson. I'm going to figure out some other way. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to figure out some other way to get the job done before I put this man on the field in front of Princely. That's just me. I like the role that Princely's playing now, being that designated pass rush guy. I think he likes it as well, because it's literally just one job. Go get him. You know what I'm saying? And so he had a couple reps last week where he got caught in some run plays on the field that weren't the prettiest, in my opinion. So I think he just has some things that he still needs to work out and develop as a professional, which is fine. We know what we were going to get getting with this guy, and we know what we want him to do. You know, we want him to be able to get out of the passer. Let's let him do that. I feel a lot more confident in Scorton as an every down player. So I feel good there, especially after getting his first start last week. I'll be curious about how Ejiro decides to go about it But again, I could see us going with 3 D tackles, bro, and playing because Turk is undersized a little bit, but I could see us going with him being that DN that is on not outside the tackle, but maybe head up with the tackle. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll just be they give Ajiro a lot of credit for being this guy, this mastermind or whatever. That's what they said before all the trash and stuff that we went through.
He has weapons now, bro. He has weapons now. See,
he got options, right?
Yeah.
So all you can ask for is options. So especially that's how we use Turk a lot in week 1. That's why he was making so many plays in the run. We had him.
He was very
lined up over tight ends. That was kind of smart because ain't no tight end gonna be able to block him. The dude is 290 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't no 260-pound tight, especially not Hunter Henry or Austin Hooper, who they like to who are they starting to tight ends. Those are pass catchers. They're not trying to run. They're not trying to run block. So I think that's the case. I want to see us get more turnovers. What are we, 4th in the league in turnover, 5th in the league, something like that?
I believe it's
total
turnovers in that range.
They turned it over 5 times. I know you can't really bank on that type of turnover output, but if we can protect the ball and then get an extra possession or 2, hell, they don't have to. They scored points for us last time. If they do that again, cool. But just getting extra possessions for this offense, man, is going to be everything. We have to take care of the ball. We have to be the more disciplined team because they showed that they haven't been. They get penalties and they fumble the ball. So I want to take advantage of that, man. And so I just want to see. I'm. It's weird to say that I'm excited about our defense, and I'm excited because I'm curious, right? I want to see how they respond because they saying it was the worst 30, the most fluky 30-0 victory ever.
Oh my God!
I just don't think shutouts happen by a fluke. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that happen. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see how they bounce back because they talking.
Let me pull that video up real quick, Dunk, because you've mentioned it. You've mentioned it a couple of times, and I'm not 100% sure that everybody's on the stream or everybody that is on the stream right now has seen this video. But this is what Boston Radio, I guess, had to say about the Carolina Panthers 30-0 win against the Atlanta Falcons last week.
3rd down and you want him to play Tet McMillan because he's really their only option, and you could even give him some safety help and probably still be fine across the board because this Panthers offense, guys, is just, I mean, they've got an argument for the least talented team in football. I truly believe that. 30-point win last week, notwithstanding, like I've never had less respect for a 30-point victory in the NFL in my life than that game last week. Did you watch any of that game or see any of the highlights or anything?
Yeah, and it's a phony win.
Just gifted.
It's a phony 30-point win.
They were gifted 30 points. Michael Penix
just go watch
throwing late into the flat, like just handing them a pick 6 to a guy that's about 4 yards away from him. They have a receiver fall down, leads to another pick. It was a disaster for Atlanta. I'm not giving them a lot of respect because they beat the Falcons 30-0.
You don't have to believe us. Go watch like the condensed game of that game. It's ugly. It's the ugliest 30-point win you're ever going to see. It's a fake win. It's a 30-0 blowout win. It's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Fake, man.
So yeah. So if you guys haven't seen that video, if you wanted to know the temperature in New England / Boston / the Northeast as it pertains to your Carolina Panthers, that's how they view us, and that's how they've been chatting. Crazy work. Hey, Dunk, the fakest 30-point win in NFL history, and arguably the worst unit offensively from a talent perspective. That's what I got from that. So I mean, I guess we're just mark ass,
It's such a bro, and I think what pisses, I don't know, man. Like I said, I've been born and raised in the South my whole life, bro. I've been born and raised below the Mason-Dixon line my whole life. So maybe it's the tone that really bothers me a little bit more that just make me want to.
Just so arrogant, bro. Just so arrogant and so like, yeah. We shouldn't even be in the same conversation. Shouldn't even like, dude, what? Who are y'all?
Bro, it's I don't know, man. And I don't want to get on a regional talk because it bothers me, bro, on a different aspect that way. But The disrespect should not be taken like, bro. And this is who they are, bro. This is who they are. And I don't know. Obviously, it's established they had 20 years of greatness. But number 12 is not walking through that door for them. They just think stuff is sweet still, bro. Don't tell them that they won 4 games last year. Don't tell them that they won, 2 the year before. And that's how they got Drake May in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they won 4 and got Drake May, and before they was trash too. These brothers have not had they've been just as bad as us. They've been bad going back to what? The pandemic year when Cam was there?
When Cam was
like,
there,
bro,
it's been what, like 5 or 6 years at this point?
They're still carrying the arrogance like them banners don't have some dust on them, bro. That's how they moving right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so
I was telling Ricky that I got the fan base a little fired up too with that whole Milton Williams clip.
I saw the clip, man. I saw the responses and stuff. I'm like, bro.
Oh, they were lighting me up, bro. They were having their way.
I'll say this. Twitter is not real life. And so a lot of these, especially the people that be hiding behind the faceless accounts, bro. And I don't really like, it don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you're moving like that, you're soft, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I understand people have jobs and identities they want to protect, but I'm not gonna, like, as a man and as a person, I'm just not gonna put anything out there on the internet that I wouldn't stand behind. You know what I'm saying? That I wouldn't put my face and name on it. But I'm built different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not 100%. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, that's not me. But I just don't let them type of people bother me. But this is what bothers me. These people, these professionals, they get paid. This is stuff. These
to
are
do
people,
that on a daily basis.
They're on the beat. They are commentating games. Our beat would never do something like this. Like, people, no, they would never say nothing like that. And maybe we're a little bit too much Southern hospitality, but at the same time, man, like, we got to beat these dudes, bro. Just I can't wait to spin the block on these dudes. I'm adding them. I'm DMing them. I'm in their ear, bro.
Facts.
I'm
Dunk,
telling
what's
you,
up?
bro.
Hey, Dunk, keep it 100 with me, bro. What's up, bro? You've been chatting this year, dog. I seen you've been keeping a lot of receipts. I seen the TikTok, Dunk.
Bro.
I was like, the FPFO rub off on them or what? What's happening?
Bro, it's been overdue, man. It's been like, and not to mention, you know, I'm down here in the A2, so it's a little bit. My hate for them is a little bit different. So the energy for them is a little bit stronger than it's gonna be for anybody else. However, when we start stacking these W's, I got more in the clip, bro. It doesn't stop. We just haven't had nothing. And I told these folks, a lot of these people, they don't know Dunk with a winning team. I started making YouTube content in 2017. That was the last time we made the playoffs. And so I was just getting started. Most of the people that subscribe to me, they have not seen me on the type of time that I'm going to be on if we actually start winning these games. So just stay tuned, bro, because I got something for them too. I got something for the Cowboys, because they on my hit list too. I don't like the Cowboys either. I got some family members that's Cowboy fans too. It's always going to be smoke for the division. It's just stay tuned. It's just good to have your team cash the checks that you wrote, ain't it? So, like, that's what it's about. If they cash these checks, we good. If they bounce,
that's where I'll be running into problems, Dunk. I'll be running into problems because I'll be trying to cash them on my own. Like, fuck it. You know how I am, bro. You know how I am, bro. But like you said, it feels so much better. Like, you could not even fathom the excitement that I had walking out of that stadium on Sunday, because all I wanted to do was get to Twitter. And I already gave Dylan the green light, bro. Driving up to the stadium, I said, Dylan, now when that clock hits 000 and we win this shit, you have the green light spin on everything. Everything moving, spin on it. You got the green light. And I couldn't wait. No cap.
Oh, it was way, especially from them, bro. It was way, that had been building up for so many months. And I think that's what made last week a little bit more sweeter, because I don't think anybody saw, like, the blowout coming, because we left no doubt. And the way the excuses we get in this week is funny to see how the narrative changed. Now they pulling all-time records, even though we done beat them, 3 of the last 4, or 3 of the last 5, whatever, something like that. Bryson won 3 in a row, stuff like that. We done beat them back to back. And so the tone changes a little bit when you put belt, when you give a little bit of belt to them. So I'm ready, man. Like I said, this is a week we need to pull out, bro. Not even awesome. Like I hadn't really been talking much junk during the week, but it's just something that when it happens, just be ready, because that's when it's gonna come out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And so just be ready. And it's because of stuff like that. That's the stuff that pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? These are professionals. And and it's a very casual type of take. You know what I'm saying? Like even listening to the guys that weren't disrespectful. I listened to another one. They don't do their homework either, bro. It's clear and obvious they don't do their homework either. And not saying they don't know ball. It's just you can tell they didn't watch the full game. They watched highlights. They didn't even watch the condensed version like them dudes were talking about, because the game wasn't that sloppy. It wasn't like, I mean, he had the turnover happened in the second half. You know what I'm saying? It was a fairly close game early. It wasn't really, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that many penalties like that. It was just whatever. It wasn't that like whatever. And on offense, we were pretty conservative, but we ran the ball. We moved it. We took advantage when we got opportunities. It wasn't like they gave, like he said, they gave us 30 points, bro. No.
No, that's not the case at all, bro.
Yeah, we had a
because
pick
that
six
first drive
and
was OD.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now,
so,
I mean, the pick six, cool, I guess, if you want to harp on that. But, like, bro, we also offensively controlled the momentum of the game, like, control time of possession, control, like, the trenches. Like, we really did what we really had our way Sunday, bro. I'm not going to lie.
Never any doubt, bro. Never
bro,
any
we
doubt.
had our way, bro. And, like, me and you talked after the game, right? I said it to Ricky. He totally agreed with me. Bro, there's a world in which that game you should have probably put up 45 to 55 points, bro. So, like, if we're talking about sloppy in that regard, like, okay, cool. We missed a couple of throws, you know, maybe we missed a blocking assignment here or there. But to say, like, we didn't earn it and that was the softest 30, like, bro, like, whoa, go slow, my boy. Go slow. And you can always spot these guys, bro. Like you said, like, just from those comments, they're talking about go watch the condensed version or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of people that know football, but they only know football for their team, right? So they're not really true ball knowers, because, like, you're only watching your team and that's what you know. And there's a place for that, right? There's a place for somebody that only wants to watch the Panthers or only wants to watch. But, bro, if you're going to be in that kind of position, you should be watching everything, specifically if you have a team coming off of a shutout victory, coming into your town, and this is the way you want to talk about them. Like, that just told me, like, you know, because they didn't even mention Chuba. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, Chuba is not an all-pro back, but we're not going to act like he didn't rush for 1,000+ last year. We're not going to act like he don't set the tone and had 900 the year before, and not going to act like we don't got Rico right behind him. So it's just like, okay, cool. You know, outside of that,
it's casual things, bro. They can't, and you don't have, 32 teams is a lot of teams to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But, like,
I totally agree.
Don't speak out of line. That's the thing. If you don't know,
just say you don't know.
Don't speak out of line. Ain't nothing wrong with not speaking, right? And so, but to go out of your way to do the opposite. Not only did you not speak, you spoke reckless. Somebody said in the chat, I hope they play that type of clip. That because the energy has to be consistent across the media. And I don't know how the team feels. Obviously, it's the NFL. I'm sure they respect their opponents. But that's just the vibe that these fans have right now for you, bro. And if you need to find some motivation, this is bulletin board material. Not from them.
Oh, God.
It's bulletin board material. Show them who you are. Inflict your will on this team. They think you sweet. They think you and Jace. I'm glad JC said it, and DB has said it before. We're trying to prove that we're not the same old Panthers, because that's what everybody wants to do. Anytime we win, the national media don't talk about the first shutout of the year. They don't talk about how with the new kickoff rules that how hard it would be to shut somebody out. Yeah, some things have to go your way, like a kicker missing some field goals. But the fact that you put your defense played well enough to put them on fringe field goal range, where the field goals they did attempt were 49 and 55, when all you need is 20 yards from if you get a touchback to get in the field goal range. They're not speaking on the strategy it takes. They're not speaking on winning the field position battle consistently because your kicker is a weapon. They're not speaking on that. And so to me, there's just a lack of respect. And it we got to earn it. And I get it. We got to earn it. But we can't tolerate no disrespect. Not giving respect is one thing, but disrespect is a whole nother thing.
Something
to me.
totally different.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. It sounds like kind of the same thing, but like lacking respect and disrespect are two totally different things in my eyes, bro. So I want to see them boys go out there. I feel like the mindset is right, at least from JC. And JC is a dog like that. And I always appreciate him. I mean, we heard the trash talk. He was a little bit pissed off about that getting out on a hot mic, but
I loved it. I didn't understand really why he was not happy about it coming out, to be honest, but I guess that's just not what he wants to portray or what.
The thing is, bro, he was lying. He is that type of guy, bro. He literally is that type of guy.
I know. That's all he does at training camp.
Yeah, he wants to be, I think he wants to be the guy that flips the switch and like, you know what I'm saying? And I guess Luke was like that as well. Like, I don't know if Luke really talked trash. And there are some guys that flip the switch. I think he wants to be known as that type of guy. But literally, he is that guy.
He is.
Like you said, training camp. His rookie year in joint practice, bro, he started the camp fight with the Ravens. It was him. It was him that helped start it.
Yep.
I mean, Keith Taylor had knocked somebody block off, but he was the main one talking trash that started back up on special teams as a rookie. Now, this is his game, bro.
That's who he is, and that's when he plays his best. If you go back, and I know that you do your studying, if you go back and watch that all 22, the way he was chatting to that damn sideline every time they tried him, that shit had me ready to slide.
Bro, he had 9
targets.
Ready
to slide, bro.
That's the most he ever get tried. He had 9 targets come his way,
bro. Like he was sweet.
He might get all year. That's the most action he get, man. But yeah, I did see Tony talking about that car seat meme, bro. That's with London, the AI picture with London in the car seat. It was. I saved that one down. I'm gonna keep that for later. I'm gonna keep that for November. But it was some good memes that came out this week because that one with Bryce holding the belt, that was a good one. The one with the belt with the 30 points on it, that was a good one too. I got a couple in the tank that I don't know who all came up with. Obviously, with AI, you can do anything now. But bro, winning, and that's what I'm trying to tell these people, man. Like, winning is so much fun, bro. Because like as fans, and people want to be like, oh, this win wasn't nothing. The Falcons gave it to us. What are they gonna do next week? I'm like, bro, enjoy this. We haven't had that much winning over the years. For one, we damn sure hadn't had it be 30-0. We damn sure haven't had it. And that's not even meaning we going to the Super Bowl or playoffs or whatever. But like, bro, enjoyed it. As a fan, what else do you have, bro? You don't have to have a 24-hour rule. You don't have to lock in for your next game. You can if you want to, but enjoy it. Because we ain't got nothing but bragging rights as fans anyway. That's what we do it for. We do it for bragging rights. You do it so when you go to work or go whenever, go to the grocery store and you see your ops, you can talk trash. You can wear your jersey in public proud. You know they're looking at you funny because you got your Bryce jersey on in public and you just beat their team by 30 points. That's what we do it for. That's why we here. Facts. So like to me, man, enjoy that stuff, man. Don't be worrying about no 24-hour, 48-hour rule moving on. I'm going to always have smoke and jokes for these Falcons fans regardless. I'm never letting them live this down. I don't care what happens in November. They're never living that down. 30-0, they're never living.
After all of that chatting, bro, after all of the chatting, after all the excuses of, oh, y'all didn't knock us out of the playoffs because Tampa Bay's game was on. Bro, after all of that and the 30-0,
bro, do not let us win in. Are you coming in November?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
I might bring 1,000%. A broom, bro. I might bring a broom. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
I would love it. Do it. I would love it.
Get my hand on a small one that I can bring into the game with me. I might bring a broom because it's gonna get crazy if we beat them that time too. I'm just letting you know.
It's gonna get real. Yeah, it'll get like that.
If we sweep them, it's gonna be like that. But that's all I'm saying, man. Winning is fun, man. Like I want this feeling again, man. So I'm hoping the boys can really pull this one out. obviously there's some weak spots that I'm a little nervous about, but they have some weak spots that they have to worry about too. Their offensive line is a little bit shaky. Our offensive line, we got Zavala, he's a little bit shaky as well. We're gonna see what Drake May can do. He's an upgrading quarterback, probably the best one we face this year. You know what I'm saying? We got somebody said it. We got good players, man. I know we get a little stale on them sometimes because we haven't been good, but DB is an elite player. JC Horn is an elite player, bro. Like we have some dudes, bro, that can impact the game, and both they impact the game. Impact was built Sunday. So like, there's guys that they have to game plan and strategize for that can change this game, and that we should be able to be excited and count on, man. So like, I'm excited, man. I want people to be excited about what they can do, what's in front of us. You know what I'm saying? It's a long season. Obviously, it's week to week. Nothing that happened last week gonna help us this week. However, they can get right on the road, man. If we can get through this week, I think it'll do some wonder for us going back home, man. I think home is where the heart is for us. Obviously, it can get a little suspect when we play some teams like the Cowboys and stuff like that. But
I went on the pod this week and said, if you win this week, you winning 4 in a row, bro.
4?
Okay. Atlanta, New England. I'm not gonna lie. I think that we beat the shit out of Miami. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, bro.
They got a lot of injuries too, and they not good.
They put no fear in my heart whatsoever. And Dallas' secondary, looking as suspect as it is, and if we get Coker back, just keep T-Mac healthy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's why I think this week is a big week, man. So they hope they rap some Offset songs with Diggs. This is a big week just because of going on the road, the type of team we're facing. And I think with the injuries we have, man, if we can survive, and I say survive, like I say survive, like we're not so obviously no win is guaranteed, but if we can get through this week, man, I feel good about it too. Because this is a real test. This is going to be a real test to see if we can figure out our road woes and the struggles we had early on. Was it the fans that got us going early, or can they garner their own energy on the road and really go into somebody's house and get a statement win, man? It's the Patriots, so it's not really a statement win. It'll be a statement to them, but I think it'll also prove something to themselves as far as being able to win back-to-back wins for the first time since, I guess, last season we did it. But I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I'm ready for Sunday. We almost there. Today is Friday. We got a few more days. This injury report is nasty, but
it's disgusting, bro.
But yeah, that and we shouldn't be surprised, bro, because that's just been his bag on Wanham. And we might have talked about that before early on about him not being able to play, like consistently being hurt. But
he's never available. I mean, he is, but he's not. Like, it just feels like he's never available, bro. You get like 2 or 3 games at a time, and then it's just like TBD. It's just frustrating as hell.
Yeah, man. And so it's obviously T-Mac's playing. Obviously Turk's gonna play. I think we kind of know what it's gonna be. I think that obviously they pronounced everybody that's out already. Chuba popped up on there as questionable, which is weird.
Random.
But I don't think there's any way he's not gonna play, in my opinion. But I do think that they should rotate, of course, with Rico. But I'm the boys need to pull one out for me, bro. That was Sunday was one of the better, and I was at home, man. It's one of the better fan experiences I've had, bro, in a minute. And it's just, I know we've had some highs in this team, and I've been a fan for a long time, but in terms of just like bragging rights, what we've been through over the past whatever, and as bad as our defense has been, top 5, top 10 experience, man, that I've had in a while for sure.
I would agree, bro. I would totally agree. I'm gonna scroll down and see. They have a couple of guys too. That Jared Wilson, I think that's gonna be huge for us, to be honest. But outside of that, I mean, nothing really crazy.
Yeah, it looks like on winning you. I don't know if he was a fool on Friday. I guess he just popped up. So unless something crazy happens, it looks like it's just gonna be Wilson.
Yeah, because I think that Gonzalez is gonna go. I think he's gonna go.
He was a game time decision last week. They just held him out. So it looks like all the insiders are saying he's gonna play.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That doesn't. I'm not gonna hold you. That doesn't really change shit to me. For me personally,
no, I was expecting him to
T-Mac
play anyway. Yeah, I was expecting him to play anyway, and I think there's also, like I said, I don't know if they're gonna travel him or not, but there's ways you can take advantage of that man coverage, man. And he's that physical, bigger corner that we've seen maybe give T-Mac some trouble in college, but at the same time, they have matched up before in college as freshmen. T-Mac was a freshman. He actually scored on him. I think shout out to Monty for posting that clip. He scored on him. So I'll be curious to see, man. We just gotta again. It's going to be about Bryce not turning. It's really that simple, bro. You don't turn the ball over. We're going to be in the game. You don't turn the ball over, and the defense don't give up big plays. We're going to be in the game. That's just the way football is, bro. It's just when it comes down to making those 2 or 3 plays a game, you have to take advantage this week. I don't think we're going to have the room for, and I don't know, we could, but I just don't think we're going to have the room for error to miss out on those opportunities that we missed out on and still have that comfortability of the large lead that we had against Atlanta. But there were opportunities that have been there, so that's the bright side. It's not like there haven't been opportunities. It's execution. It's execution. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
You have a score prediction before you head out?
Let's go 24-21 Panthers. I think it's gonna be a close one. I think the way it plays out, I think we take a late lead, and then I think our defense is gonna hold up at the end. That's my call. I don't know if it'll be a stack. I think it just may be a turnover on downs or something like that, and maybe it'll be 24-20. And I'll say that it'll be like them. They won't need a field goal. They'll need a touchdown, and then we'll be in, but we won't break, and we'll keep them out of the end zone. So I got 24-20 Panthers.
I'm going to say 17-13.
Okay.
17-13 Carolina. I think we're going to come out and force a couple of turnovers.
Yeah.
I think we're going to make it difficult for Drake, very similarly to what we saw against Atlanta. Like you said, not necessarily having to get there, but just muddying things up a little bit, speeding his timing up a little bit. I think that's going to lead to a turnover or 2 from him. And really, I think we're going to be challenged in the run game, though. I will say that with Hendrickson and Ramondre, I think that we're gonna be challenged, and I think that this is gonna have to be a game in which Roseboom and Trev step up. And we saw Trev step up a little bit last week. Yeah. I'll give him his credit. But I'm still waiting on Roseboom to kind of join the party. Like our linebacking core is always, until the end of this season, is always going to be a red flag. It's always going to be high alert unless they finally decide to move Trevon Merring down, in my opinion. Which they did a couple of times last week. We saw that. And he's had success with it all throughout the season when they do it. But yeah, 17-13.
So I guess my question real quick, just to piggyback on that, is you think you have confidence, you think their defense, you have confidence in their defense that they'll stop us, or you think we're not going to be able to get on track offensively still? Because 17 is, especially if we cause a turnover, 17 is pretty low.
I think it's the latter, bro. I'm honestly, like, and I tweeted this out from FPFO. Like, I have a lot of optimism because we did put up 30, right, against Atlanta last week. And the offense just doesn't look good, bro. It doesn't look good. And this is the offense that we were told from insiders, execs, etc., that they believed that this was going to be anywhere between the top 10 and the top 15 offense, right? I just haven't seen that level of execution yet. I haven't. And I'm not saying that it's not going to happen on Sunday, but I just think, like you've mentioned a couple of times, going on a road against New England, I think it's going to be tough, bro. I think it's going to be tough. And then when you look at the fact that XL is down, even though he hasn't contributed much, if anything, I still think like having to account for him in the game plan, right? If you're the New England Patriots or lack thereof of not having to account for him, I think that's beneficial for New England. I really do. And so now you're putting immense pressure on Tremaine and Hunter. And then obviously we know JT is down this week as well, right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to have to see Tommy and Mitch get a little more involved, right? So it's just a couple of things offensively, in my opinion, that are kind of working against us. And that's not even touching the injuries to, Austin and Robbie, even though I think Cade is better served for the center position for this team.
Yeah.
Right. But there's some things that we're going to still have to work out, in my opinion. And I don't know if you have the ability, if you're the Carolina Panthers, offensively to work those things out on the road against New England. I just don't.
Okay.
And I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
I would love to be wrong. Like, I would love to see T-Mac with 150, 2 tutties. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would love to see that. I just don't it's just our offense, the first 3 games, even outside of the turnovers, has looked very, very, very pedestrian, and I've been very disappointed.
Yeah.
Right? When you talk about bringing in an offensive-minded head coach, right? We know the story with Bryce Young and drafting him number 1 overall. You talk about going receiver first round and back-to-back years, right? And I know like Thielen being traded and Coker being hurt, like I understand that, but like even the things that you were doing well last year, we haven't seen you do those things well this year. We just simply haven't from an execution standpoint. So for me, I'm just like very like right now, in my opinion, if you want me to keep it a stack with you, and this is going to sound insane, but I'm happy that I'm able to say it right now. The success of this team is predicated on, firstly, Bryce Young not turning the football over, and secondly, defense performing at a high level. And I think they have, like legitimately. If you go back and look at the second half against Arizona, and then you look at the game in totality against the Atlanta Falcons, this defense has balled, bro. Even in Jacksonville, they kept you in the game. Bro. We just continue to turn the football over, bro. And I had been saying that before they performed against Atlanta, that quiet as kept, bro. This defense has put you in a position both weeks to potentially win the game, and we just have not executed offensively. So it's very, very frustrating. And like I said, I think it's going to be tough for us to get things going on the road against New England. Now, that being said, if we want to look ahead, you have the opportunity to do that against Miami and that secondary. And if you can't do it against Miami, then you have to do it against Dallas. Because if you can't do it against Dallas, excuse my French, but you're fucked. Like legitimately. Because I mean, their secondary looks atrocious, like terrible. So not to look too far ahead.
Miami ain't got no corners, bro.
Miami has no corners at all, dog. So I'm gonna be on high alert already if you can't do it against Miami. But if you can't do it against Miami and Dallas in consecutive weeks, calls for pause. And then we're reassessing other things yet again.
Yeah. I'm hoping they get it going this week. I think they will. It may not be pretty. And again, to me, a successful day is them getting the run game going. The pass game can be whatever. As long as we're efficient, if we can get the run game established, I think that's going to tell me what we're going to do for the rest of the day. That's what I want to see. Are we getting 5, 6, 7 yard runs? Can we we haven't got the explosive runs yet. We've done enough to get on schedule to be able to maintain our short passing game to keep third down manageable. But can we get some explosives? Can we get a 10, 15-yard run? Can we pop one for 20? Because Chuba was popping a lot of them early on in the year against the Chargers. He had a phenomenal game. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He had a phenomenal game popping some runs early on. It was just Canales didn't stick with it enough. I think we had 30 runs last week. Obviously, having a lead helps with that. But it seemed like we made it, and we came out past happy on the scripted plays. I will say that. But
you did.
Chuba had 7.
Your breakdown, you said it was like 7 out of the first 8. Or 7 out of the first 9 plays?
Yeah, 7 out of the first 9 were pass plays, right?
Yeah.
And so called pass plays. Obviously, Bryce ran it in for a touchdown, but it was a called pass play.
Sure.
So I just think we got to get that line of scrimmage one, man, and then it's going to start from there. And we got the guys, in my opinion. So we got everything we need, at least on the ground game, to get it going. and then I'm ready to rock and roll, man. So I'm gonna be glued to my couch. I probably won't be glued to it. I'm gonna be standing up. I was standing up during that Atlanta game at home, bro. I was so nervous. I wanted that one bad, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
And so,
I will say, like, with it being 30-0, bro, like inside of the stadium, for me personally, it still felt like if they score on this drive, like we're gonna have to score, or else they could. Like, it was always that feeling for me until that pick six.
It's that anxiety of being trash over the years, bro. That think
PTSD.
This team might figure out how to blow this, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So,
PTSD,
that's how
severe
I feel,
PTSD.
man. It's
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was all the questions that I had for you. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to dip and get back to the fam,
yeah, I'm gonna hop off, man. I appreciate you having me, dog. You staying on,
bro? Yeah, I'm gonna stay on. I don't know how long though, because I'm seeing slowly but surely people are fucking my money off on the sports book. So I'm trying to avoid that. Asia Wilson already got me. Florida State is down by 7 to UVA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like I think I'm gonna thug it for a second, or maybe I won't, bro. Maybe I need to get in front of the TV. Maybe they need my eyes on them. I'm very superstitious that way, Dunk.
They perform better when you watch it. I just got the Florida State notification.
Like 4th and goal. I think we should pull this up. This might get me clipped. It probably will get me clipped, actually, but I don't really give a fuck.
Well, I'm head out, bro. I appreciate you having me, though, dog. We'll talk.
Go ahead and plug it, bro.
Yeah, man. Y'all know me, man. It's Aaron Duncan with the Necessary Blunt and Sports Talk Dunk on Demand. Y'all make sure y'all check out me on YouTube at youtube.com /@UB Sports Talk, or you can just look up at UB Sports Talk in your search bar. Find me, film breakdowns, analytics, all the above. I go in depth with the film breakdowns when I can. Twitter is where I do my most damage and trash talk. At Dunk on Demand, actually on TikTok too. Go to, especially since people seeing me talk trash on TikTok, and I'm putting out stuff there now. I'm trying to be consistent, so follow me on TikTok at UB Sports Talk as well, UB Sports Talk, and then on Twitter or X, whatever, I'm at Dunk on Demand, man. So it's all love, man. We got to get this big win on Sunday. I'm excited, man. Let's lock in, man. Let's get it.
For sure, man. For sure. Always appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, bro, to hop on. Whether it's in person, whether it's on stream, whatever, bro. Greatly appreciate you. I tell people all the time, the best, and I mean the best, Carolina Panthers content creator. And this is no disrespect. This is no shot. This is no nothing outside of just straight love and honesty. The best that you're going to find is on the screen right in front of you. Dunk on Demand, man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, man. Y'all be good, chat. All right, JJ, we'll talk.
All right, for sure. Be safe, bro. Thank you. Chat. What's happening? Yo, did he miss the fucking field goal, bro? Did he miss the field goal? He missed the PAT? Somebody actually, let me pull it up, bro. Y'all want to do like a little JJ live reaction? That should be fun, right? We have that on the horizon. We were supposed to kick it off this week. You guys hear me? Okay, yeah, we're good. We're back. We were supposed to have that on the horizon. Come on, execute. Good. Chat. We got Chocho on the line, bro. We need we need Florida State -2.5. I feel like that is a very fucking simple job to do. But then we need Arizona State to fight back too, because I got them +7.5. So we got a lot of work to do, chat. We got a lot of work to do. Let me see. All right. This is how I'm going to do this. First and foremost, let me take my headphones off. So this is how we're going to do this, chat. I am, first and foremost, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to. I got the game pulled up right here, but I don't want to get clipped. First, well, before I even do that, let me mute up. Before I even do that, if y'all been rocking out with us for this long, shout out to y'all. And before I even get to you guys, huge shout out and appreciation to Ricky and Dunk. Absolutely love both of those guys, bro. They do phenomenal work in this space. Like I said, like I wasn't gassing when I said what I said about Dunk. And there are a lot of people that are very close seconds. And Ricky falls under that umbrella, in my opinion, as far as the quality and the amount of content that you get on a week-to-week basis. So if you guys haven't tapped in with them yet and you are still watching the stream right now on Twitter, at Dunk on the Man and at Ricky Bobati on X. If you're watching over there right now, you can tap in with both of those guys. And on YouTube, you can find Ricky Bobati, I think every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'm pretty sure, on Panthers on Tap. Shout out to the guys over there. On YouTube, go search Panthers on Tap. Make sure to subscribe there. And then for Dunk, at Unnecessary Bluntness on YouTube is where you can find his work. And like I said, both of those guys do phenomenal work. And honestly, just honored to have both of them join the stream tonight. So shout out to those guys. If you're watching still on the stream, we've been going for almost 3 hours at this point. Shout out to y'all, bro. I told y'all last night that I was only doing an hour. I ended up doing 115, but I told y'all that we were gonna have a special night with our guests today, and I hope that we were able to uphold that standard or that expectation or meet that expectation. Actually, even surpass that expectation because I know I set the bar relatively high, but I knew that Friday night tonight was going to go very similar to the way that it has. So shout out to those guys for joining. Like I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up the ESPN ticker thingy, like the play-by-play, but I'm going to be watching and I'm going to have the sound on. I don't know if I'm going to get clipped or not. I pray that I'm not going to get clipped. But before I even do that, just in case I do get clipped, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. I just switched back over to the game. I see that we already gave them a return to the 41. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I mean, golly. Pick that! Good. How many timeouts we got? 9. Fuck it. Let's go to the end zone. Woo! He gave it to the coach. Yeah. He talking about it looks like overtime. Nah, let's go score a tutty. Let me pull this up for y'all. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find the play-by-play so I can share that. And before I do that, I'm gonna have to use the restroom too, real quick, chat. Pull up the game cash real quick though. That was huge. We needed that. Let's go to OT. I'll be right back, chat. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's rock out, man. For those of y'all that just joined, we need Florida State to cover 2.5. We need Florida State to cover 2.5. Very simple task, not asking too much. You would think that the number 8 team in the country would be able to do that in regulation against a team in UVA that really hasn't played anybody. But we're here now. We're here now. Don't hold, get yardage, and protect the damn football. All right, Doug. Appreciate you rocking out, bro. Hey, if you're on the channel right now and you haven't done so already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. I don't know if y'all can hear my screen or not. I have the game cast pulled up. Jesus Christ. Chat, for whatever it's worth, Asia Wilson already fucked my parlay off earlier. I had her for 20 points. She got 13. So I should already be paid with the Minnesota Lynx money line being the what you call. So I'm sweating, bro. Now Arizona State has fought back to make it a 3-point game. Right down the middle. Good job, boy. Way to do your job, man. Way to do your job, bro. Defense, stand up. Stand up, defense. That game cast is kind of slow, huh? Maybe if I went to play-by-play, that'll help. Nah, it's just not updating. What the hell? Up top it is, though. Let's go, D-Block. Make the play. Good. Good, good, good. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear the game in the back or not? Shout out to you, Rare. Rare Species, what up? Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate the love. Shout out Portland. I ain't been out there before, but I'm sure I'll make it out there at some point or another. Wrap up. Go get him, man. Where we at? Pick that. Ah! We got to pick that, man. We got to pick that, bro. And that's a hold, bro. Go block that shit. Good. Ice him up. Ice him up. Good, good. Hey, chat, if we get a block or we get a miss right here, that's a green check mark, man. That's a green check mark. Tony, appreciate you tuning in tonight, bro. Keep pounding. Appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat, bro. Still rocking out, bro. Shout out to y'all. Probably gonna wrap up after this. I was gonna watch some well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we're feeling, I guess. Go block that. Right down the damn middle. Good kick, boy. All right, let me mute that real quick. And I'll go for chat, how we feeling, man? How we feeling, brother? What's up, man? Appreciate y'all rocking out with us, bro. I know it's a Friday night. I know it's a lot of things that y'all could be doing right now, for sure. But definitely appreciate the love and support. I was trying to, I don't know, bro. Terrence never banged my line, bro. So y'all get on his ass how y'all would be on mine. Yeah, man. Shout out y'all, bro. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you join late and you're on X specifically, well, I mean, obviously you can watch it back on the playback on X as well. But if you want to go over to YouTube, feel free to do so. For Panthers fans only, so youtube.com/or / whichever one it is. For Panthers fans only. That'll bring you right to our YouTube channel. Also, like, shout out Ricky. I didn't mention it while he was here, but shout out to him. He had the Carolina Reaper tee on. So if you want to cop one of those, feel free to go over to forpanthersfansonly.com right now. Go cop one of them Reaper tees. Get dripped out. Okay, game is back on. My money is on the line. I need to stop. Oh, how the fuck did they get? How did they get so? How the fuck did they get so far down the field already, dog? My God. Florida State defense, bro. We need to stop, man. We need to stop desperately. Oh shit. He had to be offside. You're making them type mistakes, man. The game on the line, bro. That's a holding, man. Oh my hell. How did we miss that tackle, bro? Like what? Oh my God, bro. Jesus Christ. I hate when teams come out soft as hell when I got my cho on them, bro. I damn near need them to yeah, I damn near need them to get this shit now, bro. No cap. Yeah. Low key needed that. Fuck with that DB pointing back for. We need a Florida State touchdown and conversion, bro. I mean, my God. He's in, bro. I mean, what are we reviewing? Let's go. Hey, bro, why did the play clock never start when they ran their damn field goal unit out there? Like, what is that about? Are we gonna get an explanation for that or no? Either way, we got bigger fish to fry. We need a tutty and a conversion, man. Lee, why is this shit always got to be so difficult? And that's how we start the fucking drive. I mean, my God. I mean, we speed up our mechanics. We don't even got to. For real, for real. Ain't no purpose. Clean. Got plenty of time. Oh my hell. Ooh, Drew. About to say, I don't know if he caught it. He doing all of that extra shit. Should have caught it the first time. Nigga was scared. He thought he was about to get hit, bro. Oh, he's in, bro. He's in. Toe. Foot. Yeah. Oh my God. He didn't catch it. Oh my God. Oh my God, bro. See, this is the shit that I be talking about when I say, bro, like, why do we have to be so, why does it gotta be so difficult, bro? Ah, no, bro. They're not really like that. That's what's blowing me. Fourth down, gotta execute. My bad, chat. I didn't know I was muted that whole time. My fault. Not the way to start the weekend off, bro. If you're JJ, you get screwed by Asia Wilson, who just didn't come out to play tonight, yet her team still won. And then we got the number 8 team in the country that can't cover fucking 2.5 points against unranked. Not a good way to start the weekend off, man. I mean, my God. My God. A donation to FanDuel. That's all that is. Donation to FanDuel. Hate to see it. Hate to see it, bro. But yeah. Okay. So we have a couple of options. Because my mood isn't too sharp. We can wrap up and be done, which that's honestly the side that I'm leaning on right now. Or we can watch some locker room interviews from this week. But if y'all seen our locker room interviews already, it's no point in me doing that. So y'all just tell me what y'all want to do. Because I'm getting to the point of where I'm a bit tired. But y'all tell me what y'all want to do, man. Still got hella people in here, though. So it's like one of those situations where I kind of like don't necessarily want to get off. For real. If I'm just keeping it a stack with y'all, I don't necessarily want to get off right now. But I wouldn't be mad at it. Yeah, I mean, he fucked off, bro. But honestly, thing about it is we shouldn't even be, if you're Florida State, you shouldn't even be in that situation, bro. You shouldn't even be in overtime with unranked. And that shit just like, that just messed up my whole confidence for tomorrow, because now there's so many games tomorrow that are like so tight on the books. And I don't really have, I mean, I have, you know what I'm saying? I have leeway, but the amount of units that I'm gonna be able to do XYZ with kind of gets fucked a little bit. It does. I'm gonna just keep it a stack with y'all, man. But I do have, all right. So now we move, man. We just move. Houston. I mean, there's no way Houston should lose their game, right? Would y'all agree? Or am I gonna get fucked on that front too? Yeah. All right, let's do this, chat. Let me matter of fact, first before I make any decisions, okay, fact. QJ, if QJ say I'm good, man, QJ said I'm good money, bro. I'm good money. So let me do my outro. First and foremost, if you haven't purchased a Carolina Reaper t-shirt yet, go buy one of those. 4PanthersFansOnly.com, medium all the way up to 4XL. So all my big niggas in the chat, I am the big nigga commissioner if you were unaware. I am the big nigga commissioner for sure. All my big niggas in the chat, if you want some Carolina Panthers drip, bro, and you're not too happy with the options that NFL Shop or Fanatics and everybody else gives you, feel free to travel over to 4PanthersFansOnly.com right now and purchase a Carolina Reaper tee. That's number one. Secondly, if you're watching on YouTube and you made it this far, thank you so much. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notification on. Helps with the algorithm, helps with everything. Helps with everything. As y'all can see, we're not the biggest YouTube channel out there. So, any advantage we can gain just simply based on you guys doing one or two small tasks, we greatly appreciate it. If you're watching on X right now, shout out to y'all. Make sure that you're tapped in with us on all social media at FPFO_podcast on X, at For Panthers Fans Only, and at For Panthers Fans Only on TikTok and Instagram. And then, of course, you can visit us at our home base outside of wanting to purchase a Carolina Reaper tee. You can just visit us at our home base, ForPanthersFansOnly.com, on the World Wide Web, and get tapped in with us there as well. Upcoming schedule. I'm trying to think. Upcoming schedule. So this was like a good length live, a good length for a live stream. Pause. That shit sounded crazy. No cap. Good length for a live stream. So I think that we're probably going to be back Tuesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time when we typically drop our episodes. That will be happening for sure. The only reason why I'm kind of like hesitant and like kind of in limbo is because I don't know if I potentially want to do a live stream, a post-game live stream. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to make any promises, any commitments. This is our first week. This is our first week being home, like home for a game. Like we've been literally on road the first 2 weeks for the away games, and then obviously in Charlotte last week. So this is my first week being home for the game. So, I don't know. That's TBD. If we do decide to go live or do something like that, then I'll definitely make sure that you guys get that message via X or Instagram or whatever the case may be, and probably both if that happens. But yeah, make sure to tap in with all the creators that you saw tonight. At Dunk on Demand, at Ricky Bo Body, both on X. 2 phenomenal follows. Like, you guys come to FPFO. Like, obviously, we give you guys stats and we do some analytical things sometimes as it pertains to the Panthers, but it's more opinion driven. Obviously, the opinions are formulated based on what we see and our perspective of those things, as opinions are. But if you guys want that in-depth analytical film breakdowns and stuff like that, then highly encourage you guys to tap in with Dunk on Demand and Ricky Bo Body on X for sure, because those guys do a phenomenal job and great work. And again, shout out to them for joining us tonight, because that was huge. That was huge. That was a moment. That was a moment for sure. But yeah, that's what we got. Make sure to catch up on all FPFO content. If you're not caught up on that already, we have 2 game day vlogs that we've released this season. So if you want to kind of go on our adventure with us when we're down in Jacksonville or in Phoenix, you have the ability to do that on YouTube right now for Panthers Fans Only. Click on playlists, click on game day vlogs. It'll take you directly where you need to go. And then, of course, every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time for Panthers Fans Only, exclusively on YouTube, and then in the evening time on X as well. We drop new episodes with our live streams on Friday nights. Me personally, I do a show called Move to Change. Very, very similar setup to this, where it's just a live stream or small short form videos on YouTube called Move to Change. Like I said, I typically do those Thursday nights after every Thursday night football game. So somewhere between that 11:20 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern time range is typically when we kick that off on Thursday night. So if you're new here, we have a lot of great things going on. And if you enjoy what you watched tonight, then make sure to tap in with us everywhere you see down below. And if you're a returning viewer, we definitely appreciate the love and support. Shout out to all of y'all for tapping in. Shout out to all of the new faces that we've met so far this season. Shout out to everybody that I had the opportunity to meet at the home game this week or this past week. Being able to put a face with a name is always phenomenal. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all rocking out with us for this amount of time. We will be back very, very soon. And yeah, I'm out, man. Peace.